Yeah.
This is Chuck.
I'm like the mayor. Hey, Chuck.
What's up?
Chuck, you were way like fatter in my head, like huge.
Damn.
You look good.
Cold open.
Yeah, cold open.
This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Throw Gang, we are joined by the casting king, the agency admiral, the runway Raja. It's a post-sneaker world, and he's in Clark's Wally Peas, the Cactus Kaiser, the Scum Gorp Sultan, an old soul with a Goodyear Walt, the Lower East Side Lord, the succulent sniper, the art directing Don Dada. Hey, how are you doing? He is the Gucci man, co-founder of Midland Agency, Walter Pearce.
What's good, everyone?
Big Walt.
Big Walt.
Big Walt in the motherfucking building, bitch. What's good, dude?
Dude, the usual, same old here. Another day in paradise.
How many pods have you listened to in preparation for your the only podcast?
I feel like you're a new fan. You're a new fan of the program.
I'm a brand new fan. You know, I was asked to come on the pod. I then searched what the pod was, and I'd say I listened to 2.5 episodes.
That's better than most people, and you're verified on Instagram, so your time is
right.
worth more than an average civilian.
Right. I'll invoice you guys after.
Thanks.
But
you have a blue check, but you only have like 5 photos up.
Well, what happened was I had a ton of, dank photos, fit pics, pics of hot chicks, stuff like that. And recently I have a second phone. I have a flip phone. And when I go into flip phone mode, if you text the normal phone, it says, I'm not at this phone. If it's an emergency, text the other phone, which is the flip phone. So then I decided I'm actually only going to have pictures that I took on my flip phone.
Oh, shit. So you're like throwing it back to...
Right. So all the photos on there are taken on my flip phone.
What kind of flip phone do you...
I don't know. It's nothing too special. It's just like the one they have at the T-Mobile shop.
So it's a burner.
Does it have snake on it?
It has, what does it have? I was playing something. It has like a hoop game.
Warzone?
Yeah. Skyrim.
Okay, well, so regardless of your technological standing right now, the first thing that we are going to do, Walt, is we're going to do a fit check because you have no fucking fit pics, because all of the fit pics that exist are like, they have like 5 pixels total. We're going to paint the picture for the audience at home. You're going to walk us through the totality of the outfit that you're currently wearing. The choice for you, sir, is do you want to start top down or bottom up?
I was thinking about this because from the 1.5 episodes I listened to,
it's getting smaller and smaller by the second here. Okay.
But I do know that there's some joke about
it's a bit. It's just a running bit.
I know there's a bit, and I know it has something to do with cops. And I'm actually a famous cop hater.
Okay,
I'm like a notorious.
You're known for hating police officers.
Your first word was ACAB.
Yeah. Right. I'm like 13, 12 out of the womb, so bottom up for sure.
Okay, got it. Nailed it. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's on the feets?
Feet we got, I'll show you here. We got, this is the house shoe, right?
Oh, the JWs.
J-Dubs.
Damn. See, I thought this was like a deep cut, but you guys know.
This is the only podcast that matters.
Bro, you're talking to the two fucking, the president and vice president. I'll let the audience at home decide who's who of the post-sneaker world. You don't think we know about the J-Dub Burks? We know.
I'm a big post-sneaker guy,
Yeah. Are these house shoes, or do you wear them to like the bodega to get coffee?
That's something I call bodega gorp, which is
that's a good episode title.
It's like when you're like, it's your gorp to just, grab a
chopped cheese.
Chopped cheese. I've been eating a lot of chicken cutlet lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the major food groups out of bodega are there's coffee, chopped cheese, chicken cutlet,
White Claw.
Yeah, exactly. And White Claw. There you go.
You got to get out for the concrete jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
This type of shoe, I mean, it kind of flies off, and I walk very like
You stomp.
like
You don't walk, you
it's
stomp.
very like
You're an animated walker. You're animated.
Right. I walk like I was watching The Irishman the other day with my hot, beautiful, famous supermodel girlfriend.
Sure.
And she loves a nice 4-hour movie. So
Yeah, most women. It's funny. Most women do, especially when it's a Scorsese.
Do you always introduce her as that?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? This is my hot, beautiful supermodel girlfriend.
World famous supermodel.
As opposed to what? Like,
hey, this is whatever her name is.
Big Yoon.
Big Yoon.
Yeah, so me and Big Yoon were diving into The Irishman, and there's a scene that who was it? It was
De Niro. For sure.
Yeah, and you can just really tell that De Niro's like old, but I was like, that's actually like literally exactly how I walk. He's kind of like,
what's up with your joints, dude? Did you not drink enough milk growing up, or you're just like an animated walker?
He's famous for his walk. He's famous for his lurch.
True. My posture's world famous.
Big lurch.
I have a big lurch guy. No, I mean, I don't know. I was limp. I have kind of a limp because I back when I was like a big J back in the days, I broke my ankle, and then I just didn't go to the hospital. So it healed kind of at an angle.
So your angular ankle accounts for your lurch.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then I'm kind of animated. So what's up, dude?
Right. Wait, so the shoes fly off. We're getting off track.
Right. So I'm lurking around, kind of limping, and the shoes will fly off on the way to the bodega. So it's mostly a house shoe to answer the question.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Then moving on up, what kind of socks do you wear when you wear the?
I mean, right now I got on the house socks, which I stole from my hot model girlfriend, which are I don't know, they're like fuzzy, Oh, they got ears. They actually have ears.
Oh, okay. Those are pure. Those are straight up Easter novelty socks.
Is there a lot of big wall? Is there a lot of Big Yoon clothing exchanging going on?
I mean, not as much as you would maybe think. I don't know. Sometimes she'll steal something and it's like it becomes, Big Yoon's.
Is there anything that she's not allowed to steal, like a Grail
off limits?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some things I think it's clear. I'm just like, this is a Walt, exclusive piece. But,
this is my Fred Durst exclusive.
Yeah, I was gonna say when she tries to grip your Fred Durst fitted off of your dome piece.
Right.
Spoiler alert, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
this man is literally wearing the fucking. This is the nookie. This is the signature piece.
No,
he did it all.
Big Yoon's begging for the gray brims, and I have to draw the lines.
Right.
But she'll take a piece sometimes, and I'll take her. For example, her grandfather who doesn't speak a word of English, gave me when I went to Russia. Gave me his sweater from the Navy and or KGB, unclear. It's a great piece. So there's some interfamily, exchange.
The John's exchange amongst
some John's incest, yeah.
But yeah, from Russia, we ended the Cold War.
From Russia with love, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so moving our way up from the Easter novelty socks, what kind of pants or shorts or do you have on?
We got these Ann Wander hiking pants. I'm a vocal fan of Blackbird Spy plane. Shout out
Jonah, dude.
Shout out to
friend
Jonah.
of the program.
Friend of the pod, as I'm aware. Yeah, that's one of the actual episodes I listened to. It's actually, I think it's the only episode I listened to in full.
Did he put you on?
That's a long one too.
Did you realize that me and Lawrence were blackout by the end of that episode?
Yeah. Did we seem shit-faced?
Yes.
We're blacked around hour 3.
I'm one of those guys that it's I'm notorious for you can't really tell what's going on with me in terms of my sobriety. So I think
you just always seem like you couldn't be shit-faced. You always
right.
Yeah. I'm getting that vibe.
So I extend So I extend others the same courtesy.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, bro.
Episode 1. Episode 1 for Walt, maybe that's a bit in my ear.
Oh, sure, right.
I don't know what's going on.
The 2.5 podcast that you'll eventually do with us.
1.2, but yeah.
1.2. Right. Okay.
Was it his recon that put you onto Ann Wander?
Yeah, is that a new?
No, I mean
love?
Ann Wander. It's definitely new. It's a new I'm in a big Ann Wander hole right now. I wake up and I just look at dank $700, $800 raincoats all day that
Sure.
these guys are just pumping out, But it's not, I knew about it before, but he's a very vocal and wanderlust.
Yeah.
And, then I was like, let me, I've been deep in a Gorp hole lately, and, it got me going. And then, he definitely encouraged it. I'm not going to give him
how much
full
Gorp
credit, but
was already in your wardrobe? Like, because obviously this is like a new thing that you're leaning into, but did you have had the seed been planted, a little Patagonia here, a little yak fleece here, or is this like completely you went 0 to 60 and
No, I mean Gorp's a state of mind, so it's like
that's fair.
It's I definitely have, I've been doing it. I've always had like a kind of Gorpy style. I think the like more nerdiness aspect is what's recent, because
AKA the Japanese Gorp. That's like
right,
that kind of
Gorp is like one of the nerdiest of all, I think, like clothing communities. You know what it reminds me of is like the archive guys. Like, I have this kid, I'm not going to actually drop his name because I don't want all, your nerdy fans.
Hey, that's what no pussy will do to a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, no, this guy, hold on one second.
This guy fucks.
Yeah, this guy. Okay, he had to readjust the gray underbrim.
That was like a readjust the gray underbrim situation. No, my archive guy. I'll say his name. His name's Cliff. Huge beast. He's like 6'9", I think.
What?
You go to his you go to he dresses Cardi. He dresses a lot of these guys. But you go to his house in the Lower East Side if you know him, obviously, like me. And his house is kind of a store, And but you talk to him about clothes, and it's like he might as well be talking about like. I don't know what's like something super nerdy, like
computers,
cars.
Right. I don't know. It's just like, it's like this level of like, it's like, it's not even like about like style. It's more about like, it's like, I don't know, it's like trading cards or something.
It's like talking to an autistic person about anything. It's completely void of all emotion.
Right.
But with Gorp, it's also because it's there to save your life. It's there to protect you from fucking harsh.
That's what I was about to say about Gorp, which is the other cool thing is that it obviously just has such a connection to like an actual thing,
real activity. The activity is not the clothes, right? The clothes is not the activity, though. Right. That's the fun part.
That's why I like Gorp also, is because it's like it kind of allows you to be like nerdy and obsessive about sick Johns, but then also you're like, it's connected to the idea of like, you're going to go on a hike or whatever. You're not like
physical activity
off to the soloist or whatever the fuck.
Sure. Or just taking a fit.
You're not going to go stand in the corner with your back blown out.
You're not just rubbing one out to number 9, it's like
some party leaks.
Right.
So speaking of fucking Johns, moving our way up now, what's this outer layer and then the inner layer, the T?
The outer layer is Online Ceramics Poncho. It's a good. There's like a little like some sort of cartoon.
It's pretty subdued for
I was
going
to say.
I love this piece, and I'm friends with them, of course, obviously, and Alex was telling me, he's like, we'll never make something like that again, because the whole cut and sew thing was a big. They were like, oh, this is way too much. Let's go
too much work.
DMT, or whatever. So they're, the whole cut and. I think it just proved to be too big of a mission. It's modeled off one of their friends' ponchos or something, So
is it? What's the fabric?
It's like, I don't know, dude.
Is it like water resistant, or is it more of a cozy piece?
It's not like a tech thing, but it's not cozy either. It's like canvas, I think.
Oh shit! So that's like some menswear.
As their homie,
it's crunchy. It's definitely crunchy.
All right.
As their homie, did they give you the friends and family shipping and get that to you in 6 weeks instead of the usual 14?
Instead of the usual 2.5 years. No, I bought this before. I think I was actually friends with them. So,
you just got it yesterday. Yeah. It just arrived.
60 minutes ago. I'm the type of guy where I see something I think is cool and I bring these people into my life. I don't, I don't sit around and like
and wait for John's
computer screen.
Right. Big Walt universe is ever expanding.
Right.
It's Walt's world. You're just living in it.
Right. Exactly. We're here to just get swallowed up by the Walterverse. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Online ceramics is now. We talked about this behind behind the paywall last week, but they are now sending pre-shipment emails, which is to let people know that your Johns that you ordered are in pre-shipment. Which listen,
I do know this is a bit, but I will say that's a auto thing from what's that called?
okay.
Because I get those from, I'll get the
really?
shop. Yeah, you get them from anything. Like what it means is they printed the label.
Yeah.
But I think the main difference between Online Ceramics and other brands you might get it from is I think the usual pre-shipment time for other labels.
Yeah, right. The window is
hours.
Yeah.
Online Ceramics, your hoodie might be in pre-shipment for like.
They're just anti the whole instant gratification. Culture. So
it's slowware, baby, which I think is actually the name of
Slow
the brand.
Johns.
The funny thing about those guys is that they work so hard and they make the amount of pieces they produce is actually kind of wild, and every drop gets like actually bigger.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole.
It feels so like local and like the homies, but they're selling tens of thousands of pieces because they're so popular.
It's big, yeah, it's big, and I see like random girls in the Lower East Side like rocking the OC hoodie these days. It's like it's
really. Do you think they get
nation.
like the references or even understand the piece, or is it like they just grabbed it from the last dude they slept with and they gripped it?
No, well, the girl I'm thinking of was who I saw was wearing like a brand. It was a new piece, so it definitely wasn't. I don't think she could have swept it unless she was like there. It was like it came in the mail that day,
right? Which would have been cold blooded, but
yeah, that'd be a cold swipe.
What's under the poncho?
Oh yeah,
under the poncho. Obviously, we have Lower East Side Cactus and Succulent Society for those
sure.
market shirt.
A good suck.
Right. I forgot that you were here to plug mad shit. Right. Okay.
Yeah, obviously. I had another shirt on them before, and then I found this on my
smart.
floor. And
That's you know about self promotion. That's
why they pay me the big bucks. Yeah, me, known self promoter, deleted his whole Instagram.
Right.
Your own company pays you the big bucks. That's a novel concept to
pays
us.
Himself the big money. Yeah.
I was just talking about this with my friend the other day. It just reminded me because there's this. She tweeted like, someone tried to email my boss, like, trying to get me canceled, but like I ran the Instagram account, and I was like, I definitely feel I'm like I own the company. Like, nice try, dude. Like
sure.
Like,
so she got a DM on the company account trying to cancel her. She's just like delete.
Well, she's running the account, so I assume she just get rid of that.
Smart.
Also, side note that I just remembered, just like. Throwing it out there.
Go off.
I was doing my research, like a responsible guess about you guys, and like right before this, and I was like, let me check out their Reddit, and completely instinctively, like not even thinking about it, I opened up an incognito tab. Meaning, like, but it's just really nuts to me that was my reflex because, like, that in my head means like I was basically opening up like something I just don't want anyone to know.
Yeah, which is like, the Throwing Fits Reddit. I mean, more that's you kind of describe it to a T.
Yeah, so I basically like I might as well have been opening up like whatever
8chan
hot team gets first
16chan. Yeah,
right.
You should see the Discord.
Yeah, right. That's only like whatever the layer, like circles of hell. Like you're just at middle management with the Reddit, bro. You don't even know about how deep this. Talk about fucking rabbit holes.
Kind of my worst fear, honestly, is like those guys on the Discord just being like, this guy fucking sucks.
Well, if that's your worst fear, then you're living a pretty blessed life, Big Walt. Because
that's what I was thinking.
Harmless.
One thing about me is I hate when people. I'm actually a very sensitive guy.
We are too.
I don't like when these guys say things about me. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, save it for fucking Chris Black or like what's the name, Reese Cooper. Or get off, don't get on my shit.
Right. Big Walt is a person too, and he has feelings, and please respect them.
Right. Yeah, and also, understand who you're talking to.
Right. Also,
well, let's finish off with we're talking to a king. Let's finish off with the crown.
We're talking to Fred Durst over here.
Red Yankee hat, gray brim from Cap USA in Harlem, a classic New York institution. They home of the gray brim. Although they've been dropping, what they've been doing lately is they've been dropping pink brims. Which is, they look absolutely awful.
Right. How do you rank your brims? You go gray, green, pink?
Only gray.
What's your head size? What's your fitted size?
Yeah. How big's your dome piece?
What am I? I think, what's this say?
7 and something.
Yeah.
7.5 or 7.75. 7.5. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty. Is that above average? Is that average? You got a pretty normal sized brain.
I have, yeah. I mean, I have a bigger hair than you might think.
You have a lot of hair too, so I think that plays a role.
Yeah,
you're a tall guy. You're a tall guy.
Brain.
Yeah. And a massive brain too.
A huge throbbing brain. You're
6'9", right? Just like that homie. You're like Cliff. You're also 6 foot.
Big Walt, right? 6'9". And lest we forget, Walt, what are the panties? What are the panties today?
Just Hanes.
Briefs. Boxer briefs, boxers. What are you doing?
Yeah, just Hanes briefs.
What about
briefs? Or boxer briefs? So like tidy whities?
No, boxer briefs.
Okay,
sorry.
got it.
And the hardware? I'm seeing some rings.
Yeah, how much jewelry you have on?
So this one's actually a good story. So the first time I cast Comme des Garçons, they called, I was in Paris and they called me in to have a meeting with them. And they've never had a casting director before in all their history. They've only had in-house. So they were like, can you come meet with Agent? I was like, for sure. So I show up there and Ray and Adrian are there, and I'm like, oh my god, because obviously seeing Ray Kakugo, absolute huge legend, is a big deal. So I'm like, okay, in the flesh. So they call me over, and Adrian, Adrian also acts as like a translator for Ray, because Ray, by the way, Ray, to my knowledge, speaks English and definitely understands English, but she still only speaks to Adrian as because she's a massive legend. So why would she talk to you directly?
Of course.
So she says something Japanese. Adrian says, "Do you see this?" And it's pointing to the casting. This is 2 days before the show, their fashion show, and I'm like, yes. And then she says something Japanese, and he's like, "This is exactly what we don't want." And I'm like, for sure. And then they're like, she says something Japanese. "Can you come back tomorrow with 20 dudes?" 20 people for them to see to cast in the show.
Sure. Is that a tall order? Like normally how long would you?
Yeah, no, it's extremely not at all normal.
Did they want only street casted kids?
Yeah.
It wasn't, the thing that's really cool about her is that she it's very Japanese to my understanding as well. It's they, she hires you, and if that's your job, she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to have a discussion with you. There's no back and forth. She's hiring you because she wants you to do your job, right? And you just do it. So it's kind of that. And then, I did it and have been doing it since. But then, since that was the first time and it happened so last minute, afterwards, agent very politely was trying to offer me, money or something. And, my agent, we decided, as an act of good faith to say no, to keep the relationship going. And then he was okay, here's a, $7,000 gift card to Dover Street Market. So I was like, okay, sick, for sure. So, but with me, I don't, the clothes I buy aren't really that expensive for the most part, Right. So I went to Dover Street with Big Yoon, and, I got us some hoodies, her some hoodies, we got some shoes or whatever. And, they ring it up and they're like, it's $600. They're like, you're going to have to do better than this, Big Walt. So, I'm like, all right, let's go to the jewelry section. And that's how I got this ring. Cause this, one of their guys, not their guy, but one of the people they carry, custom made me this ring. And it's by far
I need a $6,300 ring, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah, it's golden rhodium, and it's a cricket, and it's the nicest thing I own. I think.
Sick. You wear that? You wear that that's an everyday, yeah.
Yeah, I don't take it off. I shower. It stays on.
And what's on the other hand?
Other hands, these are some Gucci rings from I think Union, or one of them's from Union.
Sick.
It's another thing that just doesn't come off. I don't think about it much.
Nice.
This wasn't a blessing from Alessandro himself. He wasn't here's one of my 40 rings you can have.
Right.
Right. No. It was not one of Alessandro's personal 3,000 rings. It was it was a brand purchase.
All right. Well, I think that is a complete fit check. Thank you, Big Walt, for regaling us with many delicious tangents and tales. But I think James is ready to.
Second time Ray has been mentioned in the fit check, but first time I think there was an extensive conversation because
I listened to that. I think
Chris Green. Yeah, she was just like, I like that you tweaked our show, or whatever. our tweaker friend Chris Green. All right, well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, if you will. As you know, as an extensive listener, you've probably listened to more episodes than the average Throwing Fits fan.
For sure,
Three main subjects of this podcast, the only podcast that matters, are money,
Ka-ching.
meats and cheeks,
That's sucking and fucking for all the kids at home.
and most importantly, Jimmy and Larry, the goddamn motherfucking boys.
Ourselves.
And we're going to start with that because we're going to start with what's most important, and then we'll get to you in about 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, so we're going to talk about you just as a vehicle to talk about ourselves. You're a co-founder of Midland Agency, which has been instrumental in defining like the current moment that we see in beauty and model representation. You've already mentioned that you've worked with like Gucci, CDG, Marni, Hood by Air. I guess my question is just, it's pretty simple. Do me and Lawrence have what it takes to model, and who do you cast this for?
I mean, as you've said, I think, these days they'll
Cast
find
anybody.
find the right client, honestly. I mean, I had this job the other day where it's like the client just like wanted some guy with a beard, and honestly, he did not. I'm not just saying this for the pod. He honestly did not look that different than you guys, and I was like,
So he was hot. So he was hot as shit, is what you're saying.
I was pretty actually shocked and appalled by it, but it was like a client request, and it made my job a bit easier because there was like one less person to find, So I was kind of like, look, he looks awesome, but well, point is, probably, why not?
Who do you think? Like, just looking at us, obviously you've taught, us a little bit. Like, just
Lawrence
gut reaction.
cannot-
Who would you cast us for?
Lawrence couldn't do Hood by Air, right? Or could he? I don't know.
I'm Jewish. I can do it. I'm Jewish.
I think you could do Hood by Air, Lawrence, because Shane, I think you fit right in with the boys Shane loves, I appreciate on a personal level.
Okay, got it.
I think like trade.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Look at that.
I thought that was implied, James. I didn't think you had to be explicit about me providing
I had to
sexual favors to Shane so I can walk in the Hood by Air show. But okay,
become the muse. Yeah, no.
Every model just has a receding hairline.
Basically, yeah. And I have like a beard, kind of scruffy. Not that easy of a fit.
We're called otters.
Are you?
I don't know.
He's getting there.
I mean, the LGBTs, they love.
All right, so Lawrence is in HBA. Where are you putting me? What runway am I stomping down? In my Heelys, by the way.
I think I know. I heard you talk about Heelys on. That's the other thing I listened to.
But the Heely app?
He was talking about Heelys?
No, you were on. It was on. What's his name? It was on Chris's podcast.
Oh, right.
Okay,
sure.
Yeah.
I think I was counting that in one of the 2.5. Now that I think about
well, that's a negative score, dude. That's the enemy, bro. We don't get any money off those downloads.
Right. That's like That's like a negative episode.
That's a net negative, I believe. Is
right.
Yeah.
It's just an L. It's a big L.
Anyway,
Heelys, you would book James in the Heelys and the
Heelys. I think James is more of an editorial guy.
Ooh.
It's a little bit edgier,
Ooh.
There's a little bit more room for experimenting, because your size doesn't matter as much. It's like a runway per se,
got it.
I am only 6'2".
Right. Minus 3 feet.
6'2". James is 237 pounds.
6'2" in my platform Yuttas, in my Hood by Air boots.
You're a bit taller than Cliff.
Right. Speaking of boots, did you see our boot shoot? And if so, Walter, how did we do?
I did. Wait, I don't know if I saw the shoot. I saw the boots.
You saw the boots, but you didn't see us wearing the boots.
I remember being pleasantly surprised when I saw the boots.
Yeah, really? You told me that you thought that Pharrell was ripping us off with the fucking.
I did. Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying that Pharrell is ripping off Throwing Fits.
I mean, I can't help but wonder if Pharrell is Throwing Fits Patreon subscriber.
Yeah, and it's not like those boots were probably, were designed 10 years ago as part of like the Timberland, fucking rollout schedule, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I mean, you don't know with those guys,
That's true.
Pharrell might have just had inspiration.
Philippe, we see you. All right, Walter. So Lawrence and I, we do have a shoot coming up, right? The details are fuzzy.
I think we were talking about this, right?
Yeah, so we're trying to shoot the loafies, the pod loafers, which I showed you pick, and I know you're a fan of.
Love those.
Any modeling advice you can give us? Because we really don't know what the fuck we're doing. So like, what would you tell us? Like, what should we do? Just day up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think you guys should, you got to lean into what you got, you can't,
Okay.
So, I think you guys are, I don't know.
How do I make my ankles
do
look
we-
sexier?
So should we ham it up more? So James and I, sometimes I think we're either trying to like blue steel it too hard, or we lean in the pendulum swings in the complete opposite direction, and we're like hamming it up, being crazy
These silly billies.
goofballs. Like, do you have any advice for like straddling these
To me,
two polar extremes?
the goofball things for me is a big, that's just, I think that's just a terrible look.
Okay, all right.
In terms of modeling, not like a day-to-day thing.
Right.
Like think about like when you see an ad and they're like, it's like, that's just
For the audience at home, Walt is being really goofy right now.
Yeah, it's like a big smile, It's like, it's like when it's like when Terry Richardson's shooting you, it's like smile, it's like, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to open your mouth because you don't know what's going to get in there around him.
Right. Yeah.
That's also, I believe the same issue happens with Bruce Weber's subjects as well.
So don't smile.
Don't smile. No, you can, I don't know.
What about smiling with our eyes, dude? What if we smize? Is that a good,
Well, Big Ewan was actually just watching Project Runway.
Okay.
And she was telling me they actually talked about smizing a lot. I believe that originates from that program, that term.
I think it's America's Next Top Model, which
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what she's watching on.
As it's interesting. So, like, as a model casting director and dating a model in the model world, like, what do you think of that show? Have you been watching
dated
with her?
tons of models I've dated in the past.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that show a legitimate representation of what you and your what you specifically do and what happens in your world, or is it that like kind of like the
I actually have not
version? But
I've not seen it, at least not in like 10 years. But my guess is it's probably exactly right.
We are rooting for you.
Yeah, my guess is it's like a pretty much word
what was
for
the
word.
Tyra Banks thing about like 9/11 where she's like, I showed up on 9/12 and I still made it fierce? Like, isn't that?
Oh, no.
Bro.
That reminds me of this. I had this idea for a movie. So, so super hot, popular girls in high school, private high school, like white popular, like bitchy chicks, very like Mean Girl style. So they get radicalized to ISIS on like internet forums, and then they try to plan a second 9/11 called 9/12.
Are you sure you want to give this away? This sounds like a fucking banger, dude.
For anyone listening, it's already in pre-production.
Yeah, copyright.
Nice try.
Don't copyright disclaimers.
Nice try. Yeah, I just want.
It's like Zero Dark 30 meets the Bling Ring. You know what I'm saying? That's the elevator pitch.
Meets the Nick Cage 9/11 movie.
Yeah. And by the way,
I have the Twin Towers tattooed here. I'm a big 9/11 guy.
And I was going to say, just another big 9/11 guy. I said, Tyra, all right, here's the quote. When I was modeling in New York during 9/11, people were dying, but I still worked, and it was fierce. And that's fucking professionalism. You know what I'm saying?
Ray Kawakubo, give her props.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for in a model. I'm like, could she work on 9/12/2001?
When you do approach people on the street, because like street casting a lot of times is literally like walking up to people and like starting up a conversation about potentially modeling. Do people ever think that like you're just like a pervert just hitting on them? And are you?
Yes and yes. Well, no, I'm not. I'm a pervert, but I'm not a pervert.
They're like, is this guy drunk?
Situation.
I can't tell.
There's private perversion and then you're a professional.
Yes.
Right. This maybe drunk lurcher.
But what do you like? What's your
up to me, kicking his shoes off?
I mean, here, the trick is really you name drop, but you choose what to name drop based on the person. That's what I do.
Interesting.
So basically, like, you'll see someone like, I don't know, and you'll be one guy, you might be like, oh yeah, like I cast American Apparel, and you don't lie. You just like, I have the list of clients is so broad, so you kind of channel it, and then. One guy you're like, oh, I do Givenchy with Matt Williams. Like, I know you love Elix, clearly. So
you're just doing like a quick little like pre-screening just based on like what they're wearing, what they're vibe.
Yeah, I'm profiling, and then I.
Who would you pitch to Chuck? To impress Chuck?
I don't know. Chuck clearly has exquisite taste, so probably like my most expensive and exclusive clients.
Correct answer.
Like Tiffany's, maybe.
Okay.
He's the new hand of Tiffany's.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. Hold on, I'm gonna take off this online ceramics poncho.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, Chuck is the hand model for PlayStation 5 controllers.
Oh, Big Yoon was actually just telling me that in Russia, there's these guys that let you take a picture with their PS5 for like money, and
just for the gram,
just for the gram, yeah. And then they like buy more PS5s with that money. It's a
scammer. It's scammer
not
season.
A scam though, because you get exactly what you ask. Like that's
right.
business.
Well, you're not, but it's still it's scammer adjacent.
It's dishonest. It's dishonest.
Yes. Scammer season is 365 in Russia. We all know that.
Yeah, 100%.
Shit don't stop. Scammers don't sleep.
That's part of their culture, dude. Standing on buildings and almost falling to your death, being shit-faced all of the time, and scamming. And wearing tracksuits. So I guess it's more Slavic people, but
so the people that you street cast, do they already have to be kind of fitted and have like good style that's kind of similar to the client you're looking to cast for, or is it all just fucking? Do you see the vision? Like you see the sculpture in the marble?
Yeah, you really just got to see the vision. And honestly, like ideal situation for me is like someone that hasn't like barely heard of the client. Has 20 Instagram followers.
A country bumpkin, like right off the bus, like a Guns N' Roses video. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, basically.
Are you camped out at Port Authority, like trying to get people off the Greyhound, or like are you in like Soho and LES casting?
To be honest, like most of the successful street casting happens when you're actually just like walking around, like doing your thing.
Right.
And you just like see someone. I like don't, most of the time when you try to force it, it honestly like doesn't really work.
But is there a neighborhood, like, I don't know if any people were listening at home and were coming to the city and they wanted to go to the neighborhood where like, all the magic happens in street. Like, who has the best success rate neighborhood wise? Like, is it Soho, LES? Probably not Soho, right?
Yeah.
Soho's probably dog shit.
Yeah, Soho's a little much. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, to be honest, like if it's too much, sometimes just too much. Like these people are like, I don't know. I can't do
too extra.
Like
doing
it's
the
like
most.
It's like how your listeners probably dress. Like I can't really, a lot of those guys, if I see them on the street, it's just
sure.
Like, I can't deal with the whole thing.
The Larry clones,
right?
Okay,
basically.
It's a true phenomenon.
I'm modeling for Hood by Air. I think they would all be.
That's true.
Love to be my.
All right. Well, whether
also dating the famous.
Yes, I'm also having sex with Shane Oliver.
Right.
There's that.
I mean, Walt, you're the mayor of the Lower East Side. You told me that every homeless guy you dap up every homeless guy from fucking.
I dap up
you have
everyone.
coronavirus.
I dap up everyone, home or not.
Right, homed or not. I mean, you're just super plugged into like this downtown scene, and I don't know if you read this article in New York Mag that came out this week, but like it was kind of on this narc reporter shit talking about like
saw that.
all the raves. Have you been partying during the pandemic and going to raves and shit? Like what's your philosophy on that?
I actually notoriously don't go out, which is why the whole mayor thing is funny, because I think it's well, that's kind of the bit, I guess, not to spoil a bit, but that's the bit. I actually don't go out. I do not. I definitely, even not Corona, I don't go out. Really.
Do you socialize, but not party, or?
I socialize. I'm just, I'll dip early. If I show up, it's kind of it's a bit of an event, like everyone's kind of, all the chicks are waiting by the door. It's like, it's very exciting for everyone involved. Like
what's your appearance rate?
Yeah, what's your walkthrough?
10 bands
for Big Walt.
20 bands.
Right. I mean, it depends on the night.
A $7,000 gift card to DSF.
You can't put a price on it. Honestly, it comes straight from the heart when I do decide to show up. But that being said, that narky story, my friend Sean McGezzy, he's a cool guy. He went on Instagram and posted a DM from that woman who wrote the story, because she was DMing him being like, hey, basically, I'm a big narc. I'm trying to write this narky fucking story. And then he posted in the story, like, these fucking narcs are trying to narc on everyone's shit. Like, fuck these guys. So, and and his response was really funny. It's like, my friends actually don't really care about this much attention. Like, you should go ask some fucking like idiot or something.
Right, which maybe
Which she
are the
did.
people that
Which
ultimately
she did, and then
the story are very thirsty for
Bro,
attention.
she spoke to a Department of Health official who was at a rave in Bushwick.
right. You know, doing ketamine as the kids do these days. You know?
Speaking of which,
is that the drug du jour right now? Is it K?
that's the next question. We have a theory that K is on the big rise right now.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. It seems like
We've done some research.
Everyone some field studies. Everyone seems to love. That's like the thing now. You know, everyone's a big ketamine guy. You know, I personally, I don't really put things up my nose anymore.
Right. Sure.
You know, so I'm not actually in tune to what exactly they're doing. From what I'm hearing, it's K seems to be back in style.
What else are you hearing though? Like what's like bubbling up in the drug landscape, the drugscape, if you will?
Yeah. What drugs should we keep our eye on?
Drugs to watch fall into.
Now this is unbeatable recon.
Yeah, this is the real shit.
Yeah, drugs.
Yeah, Jonah, eat your fucking heart out, dog.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, ketamine is really the thing that stands out that everyone. It's also the thing that it's like it's like the in style thing. You know, everyone's like tweeting about ketamine. You know, no one hides it. They all love talking about ketamine. I think like honestly, the drugs that you should like keep an eye on, people like don't really talk about. They like go do it in the corner.
Well, that's the thing about Ket, right? It's almost like Coke without the stigma to some degree because it's been dormant and feels like a relic from a bygone era, and now like it's fucking on the Summer Jam screen in bright lights.
Right, ketamine has this weird like I don't know. This weird like culture behind it where everyone seems to have like no issues talk about it at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like in a way I think people are like very proud of their ketamine usage.
Right.
What about shrooms? Like are shrooms popping right now? I mean, on the West Coast, yes. What about in Dime Square?
I mean, I don't know what those losers are up to, but I'm a big shroom proponent, and I think they have a lot of value in terms of sharpening up a bit.
Okay. Are you a microdose guy?
I'm not a microdose guy.
Macrodose?
Yeah.
I'll dabble in a macrodose, I think, when I mean, you really have to shrooms. Some of those things you really have to respect. That you can't just take shrooms at the under the bridge party that the NY Mag reporter is talking about. Right. I think you kind of got to do it. You got to set it up right, and you got to work. You got to work with what you've learned afterwards.
Sure.
I think
you want to.
You got to do the work. You got to do the work to be an ally, not just to other people, but to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't just shroom virtue signal.
Right. Exactly. I think we're on the same page here.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's kind of talk about. Let's take it from the personal to the professional back again. We mentioned this at the top, but you worked with Comme des Garçons, big with Gucci, Marni, Givenchy, Telfar, Vaquera, Eckhouse Lada, Hood by Air. Goes on and on. American Apparel, apparently. Who's your favorite client, or who's your favorite brand to work with?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Telfar's family to me, so it's like that's like a good time always. Vaquera's nice. I don't really rock Vaquera personally. It's a bit flashy for me. Like for example, they have a kind of famous piece. It was in the Met exhibit actually on camp. Not summer camp, the more gay
like
type
notes
of camp.
on camp. Yeah,
trade.
Camp is actually less gay
than summer camp. Yeah, summer camp is the only gayer thing than camp as a concept.
Than camp, right? Exactly. But anyway, the camp is a concept or whatever. There's a Vaquera piece in there, which was a giant Tiffany's. Speaking of Tiffany's, Chuck, a giant Tiffany's sack, and it said Vaquera and Co. And like that was the dress. So I'm not exactly rocking that, but I do have a lot of respect for them. I think they're very, very smart kids. They work with Comme now? They're kind of under the umbrella.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I also
latest signee to Comme des Garçons Records.
Chaining Day.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And I do their art direction as well.
Did you work on their butt campaign?
That was all that was a big wall exclusive.
So this was big wheat pasted posters all over Manhattan, where it was just gigantic asses.
A lot of dumpers.
The whole
big
thing.
backyards.
That butt is actually one of the designers' Bryn's ass because she has that tattoo of the kiss. That's a fun fact for your listeners who are, I'm sure, giant Vaquero fans.
Was your idea what was like the challenge that people I saw our mutual friend Patia doing this, but was there like a challenge too where you like people would pose naked in front of the
you mean the hashtag Vaquero butt challenge?
Yes, there you go.
You know, I mean, when you're a really good art director like me, you know, things like that kind of just pop up around the work.
They just come to you, yeah, sure.
You know, like you do the work and other people think of an awesome challenge to do because your work is like so inspiring.
Got
you know, it like speaks. Well, you know, I mean, in all seriousness, I think there is a level of care that's very community based, and I think the reason that project, which what the project actually was, is instead of doing a show this year because of Corona, etc., we pasted the entire collection, so every single look, individual model. Normally when you see a wheat paste, it's obviously kind of one image, and this was in 3 different locations in Manhattan. You could see the entire collection in a row.
How many looks? There's a lot, right?
I think 32 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 30. Pretty. That's like an ambitious kind, but very cool. And
it was a big thing,
How many butts? How many butts were there?
Well, the butt would close off each, set of looks. So you'd see all the looks, and at the end there's a butt. And
was one of them Patia's?
No, Patia was not in this.
But she just did the challenge.
She did the hashtag Vaquero butt challenge.
She just shut down the goddamn motherfucking timeline.
Yeah. And since I actually told Patia, I said I'm going on Done Fits today, and she said, "LOL."
Nice. She told me to ask you about the Tompkins Park kids. How much you hate them?
Well, no, I mean,
like the skaters,
No, I mean, I think there's.
I thought she meant gutter punks.
No, no. I love the gutter punks. That's like, that's who I relate to. There's definitely there's this. I mean, I'm gonna get fucking murdered for this. This is like how you get murdered. But I think there's definitely this culture of Tompkins Park. Especially I think in the Corona age where Tompkins was this epicenter of in my opinion what kind of lame people go to do at night.
Oh, like the Prompkins rave and shit.
Yeah,
right. Not to name anything specifically. And
sure.
I'm actually not
So what you're saying is not only are you super spreading, but you're super spreading in the lamest possible way.
Yeah, and my thing actually is I'm not actually I'm not a hater. I just don't like that much stuff. So
you're discerning is the term.
Yes.
You like and water pants and supermodels.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I like and wander, and I like smoking hot model chicks, and I don't think that's that crazy of me. I think that's a pretty.
You're a red-blooded American man.
Yeah, and I like red meat. I like
bodega chicken.
I like
chicks.
Bodega cutlets.
Bodega cutlet. And a hot piece of ass. But no, in all seriousness, I actually have no problem with these kids. I think if anything, it's more of a bit. I think it's also honestly, I think I'm old. I think it's actually me just being an old person.
How old are you?
I'm 25 now, but you have to understand. But what you do have to understand is that I started being around when I was 16, and not around I I interned for her there when I was 16.
Right, you were fully formed to some extent.
So I was I've been around actually a long. I've been.
Do you feel
10
jaded?
Years almost.
Do you feel jaded at all?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hinting at. It's I'm like, oh, these kids in their stupid Tompkins party. But, I mean, probably 5 years ago, I would have been all up in there,
Yeah.
You would have been super spreading with the best of them.
Right.
And then back to your client work, back to your client work. I mean, you've been doing this for 10 years now. So you have not just amazing experiences, but who's your most demanding client?
I mean, I'm not going to say that, but obviously. Because I'm not an idiot, but
you just passed the test, baby.
Well, yeah, exactly. One thing is that's a bit, right? That's something you do.
Yeah,
a lot of gotcha journalism.
A lot of gotcha journalism. Just like New York Mag.
I don't know if you ever mentioned your favorite brand to work with. Is it Vaquera?
Yeah,
Telfar.
Yeah,
Telfar and Vaquera, I'd say they're
they're the homies.
Yeah. Do you prefer the small community brand? Because the opportunities you get to work with these big houses, the European houses, that's amazing for your career, but you always prefer to work with the community based homes.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of that is just because you get to really do what you want, and I think Gucci, who again we don't really work with as much anymore, they're very in-house now. They're a lot of those brands, Gucci, Balenciaga, I mean mostly those two, to be honest. It's a very in-house thing. You'll notice there's no stylist credited ever. There's no it's very like it's done by the house, it's done by Alessandro, and that's how it is. But when we were working with them a lot, kind of a year ago or so, it was very cool because it felt not always, but in some ways it felt kind of like this like magic mixture of those two things,
right.
like meaning like it's, your work is seen on billboards, etc., but you're also kind of allowed to be a bit funkier and kind of feel like, you're doing what you really want to do. But that being said, Telfar is also, I get dinner with him on my birthday at Lucienne, a big super spreader hotspot.
Right, of course.
But, that's family. Vicar is all family and everyone's involved. So, when you're working with them, it's just like a different ball game.
Sure.
Speaking of Gucci, though, it's been in the news, Harry Styles wearing Gucci dresses and then the fucking right wing taking umbrance with that. Do you think that Harry Styles wearing Gucci dresses, is that going to end Western civilization?
Yeah.
Well, anything I think at this point could probably just end civilization. I think we're walking a thin rope. Is that an expression?
Yeah, tight rope.
And you know what?
Tight rope, yeah.
And you're wearing the right pants for it.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. When the world ends, I'm going to be decked out in Ann Wander, ready to hike 7 miles, but only 7. After that, we cut it off. But what were we the fuck? Oh, Harry Styles. Harry Styles is a great guy. First off, I'm actually a big personal fan of Harry Styles.
As like a dude.
Yeah, as a guy.
Harry Styles. The first time I met Harry Styles was in the lobby of the Chateau, obviously, because
right. Sure.
The type of company I keep and the things I do.
You're at the Chateau, baby.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm at the Chateau. I'm throwing down rosés on the reg, surrounded by models. And, Harry Styles walks in and I met him in a quick kind of handshake thing. I believe he was with Alessandro, actually. And then fast forward to last year, me and Rachel, my biz partner, went to see Slave Play by Jeremy O'Harris. Another big very cool thing to do. Yeah, Jeremy's a friend.
Sure,
well, but,
of course.
Anyway.
If you're going to see a fucking play, you're going to see Jeremy O'Harris play.
Yeah, me, a big theater guy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I decided to
you're
fit
not
that,
going to the opera.
I decided to fit that into my busy theater regimen. But,
what was the theater fit? What was your theater
what did you wear to the theater?
I don't remember, actually. I know I was in a Gucci scarf, but anyway, point is, by coincidence, yeah, exactly. But by coincidence, Harry was also at that performance. And afterwards, we were all hanging with Jeremy and the cast. Obviously, you got to meet those guys, tell them they did a great job after the show. And Harry
said you weren't napping the whole time?
Right. Harry was there as well. And he was like, oh, hey, Walter, like we met at the Chateau. And I found it like very, very impressive because, obviously I meet famous people all the fucking time. I'm surrounded by famous people.
Yep. And, talking to 2 right now.
And hot models, so it's like, I'm very used to people, obviously, they pretend they don't know you, like, oh yeah, but I thought it was very like humble and impressed. It's very nice and it's very genuine. Right. And not famous people would not do that.
Right, sure. So I don't do that shit all the time, and I have no reason to.
Same with me. And Harry Styles is not only famous, he's maybe like literally the most famous person on the planet. He's kind of like a K-pop level of fame that is like kind of unparalleled in like other things. It's like at one of the Gucci shows in Rome, I remember at one point you literally just hear like through walls and walls and walls and walls, like there's really loud noise, and it turns out it's yelling girls outside because they know that he was inside,
like Beatlemania type shit.
You don't even see him; they just know.
Yeah, they just know he's there.
They know he's there, and there's thousands of girls outside. And I think, I don't know, he's a good guy. So yeah,
I'm happy to hear that because he seems like that kind of guy, and it fucking rocks hearing that. Yeah,
yeah, and it's real, and that's why I'll always kind of back.
Could you
to answer the question, I think he can wear all the Gucci dresses he wants.
Do you like his?
Could you hit him up and get him on the pod?
Yeah. Do you have his number?
I'm sure that he would be thrilled to be on this pod. I do know that he's very busy.
Right. Yes. Do you like his personal style? Like what he wears just normally out and about?
I mean, one thing I will say with anyone, I think that's that level of like scene is it's always hard to tell what personal, like
sure. What's real and what's manufactured.
What are they picking? What is their stylist picking? What is someone sending them? What is someone paying them to wear?
What about his running fits though, where he had like the vintage Patagonia hat, which was like,
the person if we're talking about
Vintage
Gorp
trucker.
styles, I'm sure you guys fucking talk about this guy all the time on this, fucking thing. But Shia LaBeouf, obviously, I
Yes,
think is
the
just
king, the goat.
The guy
The source.
dresses, and he's dating Mark Qualley, which I'm not happy about because I love her. But
He's the real
anyway,
deal.
I'm in a very happy, basically
Yes.
marriage with my hot supermodel wife.
Yes.
So it's actually not a problem.
And she's world famous too. She's also world famous.
She held her head in Gucci show. Very known, debatably the most important fashion runway picture of, I'd say, the last 300 years or so. But
Right.
anyway, besides that, I'm a big Mark Qualley fanboy, and she's dating Shia, but it's almost like, you know what, I think he's the right guy for her.
Right. If you're going to date anyone, you date Shia LaBeouf, right? I mean, that's just really what it comes down to.
Yeah, she's not being a fucking idiot about it. She's
Sure.
picking someone that be dressing, and
Facts.
What
I
about
don't know the guy, but
what about another kind of like celebrity homie fashion moment, which was Matthew Williams at Givenchy now? Like, I know he's your guy. I know that you guys work together. What do you think of the debut collection?
I mean, the thing about me, honestly, is the way I do the best work is I don't even look at the clothes really that much. Yes. And I'm not saying that to be cool because I really don't. Like, I don't know. I think that what I can tell you is I remember looking at it and I remember thinking cool,
Sure.
Like,
and
that's really,
you're on to
that's kind of the extent to me of like, I think the best way to do really like sick work is honestly to not even think about it that much.
So you need to kind of understand the vibe, but not necessarily get into like the nitty gritty and be like, oh, like the detailing here and
you're not overthinking it.
I mean, I think there's time, particularly in like art direction stuff. There's times where you like, the purpose of this picture is to sell a bag, or the purpose of this picture is to sell a pant, and then you do have to be like, okay, like what are we going to do to make sure this pant looks good or whatever. But I think if you're just like a day-to-day functioning with clients, I don't think you have to like jerk off to the Vogue runway pictures 24/7. And I think that's also what makes me like a cool option for people, is that I'm not some like fashion idiot.
So it's like outsider perspective a little bit.
Yeah, you're not a fanboy or whatever.
Right. I'm not a fan.
Not a simp.
I'm not a simp. Yeah. I'm just a huge, awesome guy,
Right.
with impeccable taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Discerning, should be discerning, impeccable taste.
Let's get off brands for a minute and talk about just kind of like the general landscape. I mean, I think that if anyone who's like casually follows the news, whether it is like a Terry Richardson, like we mentioned, or just kind of like, the whole Me Too movement, the most recent wave of it, they know that models notoriously are like super vulnerable and have to go through a lot of shady fuck shit. Is this still the case in 2020, or have all these like predators, these like old white men, started crawling back into their holes?
I mean, I think that any job or business where there's a bunch of like hot young people running around dealing with old white men,
right,
there's always going to be like predatory situations, which is not good. It's just like, I mean, I don't think always, actually. I think eventually, maybe theoretically, this will change.
right.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm saying is right now, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it's not like I don't see things like that firsthand and not call them out.
Right.
That's not really my style. Actually, my style, as of the last couple of years, actually, is like to actually call things out to, like kind of the boss, whoever you're working with, if you see something fucked up, because
See something, say something.
yeah, I don't like that phrasing, but yes.
Okay.
That's the
That
NYPD.
phrasing-
That's NYPD.
Yes, that phrasing is a bit copy for my taste, but
they could have used that on 910. You know what I'm saying?
right. For sure. I think they're also very different things. I think that seeing something and saying something and just being a narc on someone that's like putting off fireworks, because that's
Right.
really what those
You might as well be a
slogans are
reporter for
for.
New York Mag. You know?
Exactly. Like, get a job at New York Mag while you're at it. I think that's a very different thing than like seeing something fucked up in like a company or, in a project that you're working on in a position of power and not saying something. And I think that it's actually not that hard because the risk is not even that big. And you can also really, if you're worried about it or whatever, you can really phrase it as like you're looking out for them, which is true. You actually are looking out for a company by protecting
this
the
guy's
people
like,
that are working
yeah,
for them.
this guy's that's on your payroll representing you is like a fucking
making you look real bad.
And I've seen things not in a like abuse way that we're talking about, but I've seen things more so in like racist things, like where companies have done racist things, and I've seen it and not said anything because I felt like very small in that situation. Like it was too big of a thing for me to say, and it's happened, and not me, but the people involved have gotten in trouble, as they should, because they did something fucked up. And I think that it's very easy to actually like stop these things from happening if you like, if the people that like, it's basically people like me's fault that I think these things happen. Because, I think also when there's like a big scandal or a brand gets in trouble for being racist for the 3,000th time or whatever, and,
Right.
Everyone's saying like, how did no one see this, and the truth is like, unfortunately, like probably a lot of people did and like did not say anything. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the whole problem. I think like really being accountable there is like actually how you can, I don't know. Maybe.
Everyone at Dolce & Gabbana is famously blind. That's how they
right.
Are you like moving into like 2021? Are you like, hey, I want to like speak up more, or are you just like, do you have any hope for things to change for the better if people do start speaking up?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, like Corona, et cetera, I think it's just been such a like, for me anyway, it's just been such a like reset in the sense that it's like, I feel like I don't really have a like high caliber for like bullshit at this point. So I feel like for sure, if anything I see that is fucked up, I will definitely make sure that someone hears about it. Or I just won't work with them, or I'll call them out myself.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of options. I think it depends on kind of what the situation is.
I want to ask a question. So like, I have had just maybe 2 or 3 experiences where I worked with model agents on like casting, or like not casting, but yeah, I guess it was casting. I mean, not on like a high level, but a lot of them, it felt kind of icky. And this was like 10 years ago. This is when I was at BPMW for like lookbooks and then like a runway show and a presentation. And speaking of race, it was very much they're just like, and I don't know if this is like good or bad, but they're like, hey, do you want black girls, like Asian girls, like, and just very like, I felt like I was like fucking like shopping for like meat, right? Which you kind of are. And then, yeah, just like treating very ruthless with the way they would like be like, hey, like here's what we have to offer. What do you want? It felt kind of icky. Like, does Midland, like the fact that you're homies with a lot of these people, I feel like must be great because they actually trust you. But like, how does Midland kind of deal with all that shit?
I mean, I feel like the first thing obviously is you have to like humanize these people. And I know that sounds like, if you're not like in the industry, or I mean, if you haven't seen it firsthand, like you're saying, I think that sounds really crazy. Like, of course you should humanize them. But I think that very quickly, when it's through so many layers of all of this stuff, like people are very quick to kind of like, people forget that you're talking about human beings, and they're thinking of it more in terms of what they need, as you just said. Like, we need someone to fit this, we need them to look like this, da 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 da. And I think right when you start, like really, I mean, I think that Midland's very community based, and whether we know the people or not, I think that's kind of how we work, and that's honestly why things are different with us. But I think, I mean, yeah, what you're saying is definitely true. Like, when it's less of like a quota, I think that's kind of how you make good and honest work happen that is like inclusive and feels good about doing it. I think like too quickly things become something that we need, and it's like, I need a black person that's this size, I need a white person that's size, I need an Asian person that's this size. And also I think it works the other way as well. It's like, I think as companies are right now trying to be more inclusive in their casting, which is a great thing. I think you hear these terms like tokenism and token diversity a lot thrown around, but there definitely is an element of it that is very true, which is in the sense that like, they're like, we need a black person, we need this, we need this, we need this. And, you look at it and it looks kind of like, it looks like an AI made it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think to me that like is very dehumanizing, actually. Like,
casted by an algorithm. Right.
And that is, whether that's about race or whether that's just casting in general, like I think there's definitely like a very algorithm-y way of working that a lot of people do, whether it's a brand or a casting director. And it's really just a way of talking about people in general. And I think, that's kind of like, to me, the root of the problem, besides obviously like generations of systemic racism that these Italian brands have, or not just Italians, but Italian historically extra racist.
Yeah.
But
is there like one? Kind of the natural next question is like, what do you want to see kind of change, especially now that with post-pandemic, there is like an opportunity to have like a reset moment, a self-examination moment in the whole industry. Like, what do you want to see change in fashion post-pandemic, post everything?
I think one important thing is like that. I think that jobs to people of color and specifically Black people have to be like the actual companies themselves, in terms of like who is making decisions on a day-to-day level, on every level of the company, need to be more diverse. Because I think that it's very easy for a lot of rich white people, and most likely rich white men, to decide to do a diverse casting, for example, and I don't think that's not what actual diversity is. To like look at a campaign and it might look diverse, but then the company itself is like, oh, it looks exactly the same. That's like not real diversity.
Yeah, that's virtue signaling is basically what's happening there.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of cool words that I think you could like describe it as these days,
Sure.
But I think that it really does all kind of trickle down from that to me. Because I think once a company itself is much more diverse, then everything else will follow suit.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, hopefully, right? It seems
Fingers
to be
crossed.
maybe heading that way. Fingers crossed, but who knows? It might just be some superficial bullshit. We'll see. There's only really one way to see, which is just like wait and find out.
Time will tell, And I think if people have to do the work internally, and like people like me who have a position of power are like responsible.
Well, you're putting in the work when it comes to the fucking mountainside. Besides Ann Wander, what a transition, by the way. Besides Ann Wander,
Jesus Christ.
Let's go from systemic racism to hiking.
Let's fucking go. The only podcast that matters, baby.
We put in our quota for like serious talk time. Let's get silly again.
Come on,
right, we're all good people.
We're talking about fucking Johns over here.
Yeah, that's why we're the only podcast that matters. This is why the only podcast matters. We can go from that beautiful soliloquy.
That was thoughtful as fuck.
Yeah. Into
racism has been solved now. Walter did it just.
Me. You know me. I'm known for a couple things. Like one, being a giant cool boy, badass, and another thing is my thoughtful and empathetic.
Oh, and hot models.
It's your thoughts and your thoughts
for the one.
We love hot chicks. We love empathy.
Yeah, right.
Respect.
Hot chicks, empathy for hot chicks.
Empathy for hot people. Empathy, yeah. I mean, hot chicks are, for sure, people.
Yeah.
and some.
Yeah, boy.
Hot chicks are more than people.
97. Hottest party in Jersey.
Orange juice, $2.99.
I think the hiking, I assume.
So besides Ann Wander, because obviously you're a big Ann Wander head, but like what other Gorpy brands you fucking with right now?
Yeah, what's on the hit list, dog?
Shit. Gramici is one thing. That's kind of a deep cut, honestly, in terms.
Yeah.
Because Gramici to me is not that hip, I think.
No, I think it's pedestrian. That's why I like it personally.
Yeah,
it's definitely like a brand for, people, real people.
Right. And I think, it's a great price point first off. And I also think that it's like, it's in this weird in-between, in the sense that like, I think brands like Patagonia very often get like, or like North Face, like you can wear it and it's almost a way where it's like, yeah, I'm wearing something really like big and pop, like not ironic, but you know what I mean, right? Sure. It's like when Gramici is like this weird in between where I think you're actually just like,
no normcore people wear Gramici. The only people that wear Gramici are like real heads
kind of corped out heads. Yeah,
exactly.
Gramici Japan though, if you ever, it's like different, and that's like more like lifestyle, and they have like a little bit more like some fashion fucking juice in there.
Yeah,
you can get Gramici at Urban Outfitters.
Yeah,
Gramici is at urbanoutfitters.com and shit. Like it's not completely, it's pretty widespread. Whether or not it's like super popular, so I can see James want to take it to the next fucking level and only buy Japanese.
Yeah, colorways. You want the Japanese because it's too small.
Yeah, I was gonna say James would be like a triple XL in Japanese Gramici.
Well, even in Ann Wander and pants, I was sorry, my little brother's texting me. He's picking me and Big U up actually to go to Thanksgiving.
Not right now.
No, not right now, boys.
Okay,
calm down.
I thought we timed this.
Yeah, no, we're good. Right. Calm down, boys. He's just asking me the address.
What's your address?
69 420 Avenue.
Oh, sick roll. This guy fucking fucked.
Apartment 911.
Hell yeah, dude.
Anyway, I was trying on these Ann Wander pants, and I was like, I'm like a size large or something, and like, my whole life I've been like
a waifish twink.
Yeah, it's a nice waifish, bony twink, and so I was like, oh damn, I'm a large, like I'm a fucking beast.
You're gonna go throw up those cutlets, dude.
Been doing too many squats.
Yeah.
Nah, I think the cutlets is more. I've just been pounding so many cutlets.
Do you see a lot of Gorp now in the Lower East Side? Like, obviously, like, we're reading about it on Blackbird Spy Plane, or we're looking at the fucking Japanese catalog of Grimichi, but are more like cool civilians like getting into the Gorp game, or is it?
I mean, I think that I think there's like the entry level Gorp. I think it's like been cool in that sense. Before like Gorp was maybe even like a name. Like I think like, Patagonia and North Face, like you see these things like all the time, like fleeces,
Right. That's nothing new, I guess. That's not like, next level
I think
shit.
like looking like you're like a full, like, mountain climber is kind of like a different level, which I don't really do either also, by the way. It's definitely a balance.
Does it bum you out to see like more guys on IG wearing, and like, are you a gatekeeper with the Gorp? And I like, I'm not trying to, make you look bad, but
I try not to be a gatekeeper in general. I think it's like bad.
Gorpkeeper.
I think it's like bad karma, to be a Gorpkeeper. Yeah. But I do. I mean, I think I just I think I right. I think I just have fire style, and people are going to get inspired. Obviously.
What's your jacket that you've been wearing constantly? It's like
that's a deep cut. It's a Japanese brand, Rocky Mountain Featherbed. Nice.
Oh yeah, of course. Come on, bro.
I think they were based. I could be wrong. I think that they were one of these brands that like came up in Seattle in like the 870s, and then like were purchased by a holding company in Japan.
It's one of those. There's a lot of Gorp brands in particular that are like they started out in like Colorado, and then all of a sudden they're like Japanese, and you don't really know how.
Yeah, they get licensed to the Japanese, and they just shrink the sizes.
They got copped up.
Yeah. They got copped. Yeah,
hit the archive, shrink the sizes.
Rocky Mountain Featherbed nice stuffing is a cool one because it's really not accessible. It's actually like, in terms of, I was just saying how I don't gatekeep, but
you can't have this.
You're telling us how you don't gatekeep yet. Please tell us about all your favorite gates.
Right. I was texting with the store manager of Rocky Mountain Featherbed nice stuff in Harajuku, because they don't ship to the US on their site, so you gotta text them.
Right.
But, it's since the time difference, it was basically 24 hours per text, so it took like a couple weeks. It was like a big thing when I finally got the coat,
right,
or jacket. But it's a great jacket. It also it's like so Japanese, it weighs like less than a quarter,
Yeah.
It's like so warm.
Has this been your uniform as the temperatures have dipped? Has it been kind of like, the LES, SCC, LES, CSS, T, the Rocky Mountain Featherbed coat, and the Ann Wander pants, and the J Dubs, and the Durst 2?
I mean, inside, I think I have this one like real uniform, which is like I have these dark olive, I would say, Columbia, where they zip off at the pant.
Wait,
like real Gorp, not hipster Gorp, like real just
airport
Shants.
Yeah.
Short pants?
Shants, but like
you drop the top on the fucking.
It's like titties out. The knee titties out.
It's the type of shant where it's like not a thing. It's like you just wear them, and it's like you wouldn't even notice. I think like when I think of shant, I think of like a khaki where it's like really obviously short. Like
airport chic.
Right.
LaGuardia chic.
This is just like some real Gorp shit. I got them at RVI, but it's this color, and that's been my colorway. So it's that. Then dark green hoodie. Rocky Mountain Featherbed, nice stuffing, olive, down coat, jacket, and then the Solomon. I don't know the model. I can actually tell you.
Well, it's either the XT6 or the XT4, probably, or maybe Speed Cross.
It's a GTX Forces 2. The one with the the lace. There's no laces. It's the
almost all of them are like that.
It's just the hiking boot basically.
Do you wrap up those strings and like tuck them into the? Is there a pocket under the tongue? The lace garage.
I had this the other day because I was walking around. They're flying all over the place. They're walking like me.
Exactly. They're lurching around. You got to double parallel park those motherfuckers in the lace garage.
Well, then I found the lace garage, and it's a huge moment for me. But point is, those are actually a dark green as well. The pair I have. So
Pantone of the year.
I have this fit. Oh, and then I have a Gramici, bucket sun hat thing, which is also this color. So I'm really just like, I don't know. That's a very Gorpy thing to me. Also, it's like being like one earth tone.
Right. Sure.
Motherfucker looks like a log.
Yeah. Right. I'm like a log, and then the next day I'm like, a dirt, maybe, or like
hands of dirt,
like a moldy log. Like
a mossy log, log.
Like some moss. Yeah, exactly.
For sure. That's an interesting take on personal style. Most people come on here and they have, like, you obviously have favorite brands, but the fact that you are like thinking about it in a cerebral way where it is like you're trying to be one Pantone, I think that's a unique level of personal style nuance.
I think, I think I've gone through a lot of like layers of, I've gone through a lot of phases, And
what else have you gone through?
Yeah. What are some other archetypes?
I think for the last,
besides
two or
Limp
3
Bizkit
years,
frontman,
right? I think for the last 2 or 3 years,
you got to get the contacts to make your eyes black and you look like Wes.
Yes,
the other dude in Limp Bizkit.
That's very like cyberpunk. I don't even know what that is.
Sure, I think that's something like that.
Cyber hacker.
The last 2 or 3 years, I've been some version of like how I dress now. But I think like for example in high school, I was very like metrosexual. Like
going out shirts and like
shiny ties.
Like I wear like long johns as pants. And like
that's metrosexual. Oh, you mean like lumberjack? Like a lumberjack guy?
Well, you have to remember that I was a senior in high school I graduated in 2014. So that was like. Metrosexual back then was just like Dis magazine looking, very like net art. So I'd wear like a giant like Under Armour shirt with like long johns as pants and like Nike running shoes.
Metrosexual when James and I were coming up is just like dressing like Regis Philbin, basically, on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Lots of hair gel.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's dead. R.I.P. R.I.P.
It's probably like an old person reference, I would guess. I had a shaved head, and then I had 2 stripes in my eyebrows, and then I had the stripes in my shaved head, so it looked like it continued. You know what I mean?
Very cool.
Yeah, it's extreme. Oh, I had the Chase Bank logo shaved into my head once.
Why?
Because I was like really like net art. You know what I mean?
Okay,
really,
all right.
Like it was post Tumblr even, but it was like that vibe. Like
it was Dis magazine.
It was very like it was. Very, I worked at it. That was my first job ever.
So you were like took it to an embarrassing degree. Almost.
Yeah, it was.
You were a young go hard.
To be honest, it was kind of like I like didn't understand that it was like ironic. I feel like.
Well, that's your first problem.
That's the first step in understanding irony.
It's like a very like 18-year-old or young. I guess like it's very like 17-year-old way of like viewing something like very literally,
like super sincerely. Yeah, for sure.
To be fair, though, I think there's definitely a level of all those guys and people that you can't really tell if it's a joke. It's like blends together.
Self-awareness develops with the frontal lobe,
my prefrontal cortex,
there it
damaged, which I've damaged heavily, by the way. Really, I've gotten a lot of concussions, which is one of the reasons I'm such a genius.
How would you get concussions?
Yeah, what?
Well, I was a big longboarder.
Very cool.
I would bomb hills back in the day. And then, then when I got a little older, I stopped bombing hills, but still was chasing that thrill. So what I would do is I'd get
the need for speed.
I would fight like giant people in bars.
Okay.
And back then I weighed like 20 pounds.
You're a glutton for punishment.
On a good day after chicken cutlet back then, I probably weighed like 102 pounds.
Did you ever win or would you just lose?
You just want to get your ass beat.
I'm very scrappy, so I would like smash bottles on heads and like get arrested. And
all right,
this is back in the days. I've cleaned up my
This is a former life.
Yeah,
this was Lil Walt. This was Lil Walt, not Big Walt.
Yeah, this was Young Walt.
Let's talk about young Yoon. Is she Gorpy as well?
Yoon has very cool personal style. I wouldn't say Gorp. No, I'd say it's more like I don't know. It evolved. She used to be kind of punky, like leather jackets, you know, not like a real punk, like a hot punk.
Kind of like your regular run of the mill, like successful model, personal style.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely evolved a bit lately. I don't know. I think she's really transcending boundaries. So I don't think there's really like you can't classify it as something so simply like Gorp or anything, you know.
Well, the
like
most
the replica
iconic,
of her head, let's not put her in a box.
The most iconic moment of the last 300 years in fashion was her, what year was that? Like 2018, 2019? When she walked the Gucci show holding a replica, a very realistic replica of her own head.
Mm-hmm.
And it was her and one other model, right?
Right. And at the Gucci headquarters now in Rome, there's another replica, which is a full body replica of her holding the replica of her head.
Well, so is the replica of her head like in your crib?
No, it's at the Gucci headquarters in Rome, which is being held by a full body replica of her. So there's So there's a head attached to a body holding her head.
In some weird, twisted sexual way, did you see that? And were you kind of turned on a little bit? Were you like, yo?
I'm trying to think if we were we must have been dating then, I think. Actually, it might have been right before. I don't know. It depends when that was. What I will say is I think if we weren't dating then, that was probably the moment when I realized that we should be dating.
Would you ever want to work the fake head like into the boudoir?
I mean, I'm kind of known for being open to whatever, as to say on that front.
A freak league. So you would have sex with your girlfriend's inanimate replica wax head? Or if she's there?
I wouldn't not. You know?
Right. I mean, very few people in this world have that opportunity.
Yeah, it's a unique scenario.
Yeah, I think it'd be privileged of me in a bad way to not do that. It'd be like It'd be like
wasteful.
It'd be like an abuse of my privilege. You know, it's like rich celebrity kids that like don't do anything. I'm like, you could do whatever you want. You could
Jeff Bezos. You could fucking end climate change now if you wanted to.
Yeah,
that's basically you not.
Or you could be like a famous actor or whatever. And
right.
Sure.
Get tons of chicks. So.
Jeff Bezos not ending homelessness in America is basically the same as you not working your girlfriend's replica wax head into a sort of like sexual situation. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a totally fair analysis. But the weird thing is like, so you don't really notice it in that picture, but when you look closely at the head and also the like full size version that holds the head at the headquarters, it looks much older than her. Like if you look at it now, you'll notice like it looks like a weird, like, it looks like an elderly version. So that's the one aversion I'd say I have to work eating. Because, you know, the idea of either of us old is, you know, horrifying.
That's terrifying.
You don't want to work that into, you know.
As young, hot people, that's, you know, you think you're going to live forever, but being faced literally directly in front of you, your mortality, that's a boner killer. Am I right, fellas?
Exactly. As young, hot trailblazers, you know, kind of running the show, you know.
Exactly.
It's a terrible thing to imagine.
Well, all right. So Gucci is obviously one of the biggest brands in the world that you've worked with extensively. But, you know, like we've said kind of throughout this, you've been involved with some of the, you know, buzzy underground brands that are now with Big Walt's assistance and enabling are now popping. What are some under the radar brands that you got your eye on currently?
Yeah. We're taking
haven't kind of transcended.
Oh, yet. like Rare John style.
Sure.
Yeah, just I
already put all your nerds on a Rocky Mountain featherbed nice stuff, and I don't know how fucking deep I need to get.
To be fair, if any like menswear dude was reading any blog, you know, 10 years ago, Rocky Mountain featherbed was like, you got to give us a little more than that because that was around.
Well, I personally wasn't reading menswear blogs.
You weren't born yet. You weren't even born.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was 14. I was probably doing algebra because I'm not ancient.
And Ken.
But, okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, what else are you fucking with? We've tried to take this segment and kind of move it up with brands in the run of show. If anyone wants to know how the sausage is made.
I'm trying
because we know that you're plugged into like, or you have been plugged into like the Telfar, the Vaquera, the Ecos Lada, the Bayeres. Like,
you spent 2.5 hours telling us how discerning your taste is. So
I do have impeccable taste. I mean, I think that part of it, I will say also, is that like, I think there's like a generation thing, right? So like I'm in this generation of like cool brands, and like now I kind of think that like the equivalent of us that's like younger, I like think they're mad whack.
Really?
I think it's like similar to me not liking the Tompkins Square Ragers. I would say it's like a very similar vibe.
You've aged out.
Right, I've aged out, and obviously anything that's new is terrible. And
your band. Your stratosphere is like you're moving up with that stratosphere, but that you're not necessarily like plugged into like what's bubbling up next.
He's not tethered.
But that being said, I would love to give. Are we past the paywall at this point?
This is all free, baby.
No, this is all free.
So
baby.
I would love to give your free listeners a sick tip. So I will try to think of something.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. Do you have a dream brand that you want to work with? I mean, obviously your client list is fucking robust, but like who's your white whale? Who do you want to fuck around and make shit happen with?
If you were going to add to the murderer's row, like immediately, who's the first thing the name that pops up? And I guess this could be like any brand, James, maybe like any.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a fashion brand. It could be fucking Apple.
I want to do like Gorp stuff, to be honest with you. Like it's like, because I've done everything high fashion, whatever, but it's like, and also, as I said, like some of those you're surprised, like some of them are super sick and like awesome to work with, and others might be like a nightmare, and it's like you really have no way of telling until like you're in there knee deep, like raw dogging it. So I think that but what I would love to do, I'd love to do like Patagonia, or like art direct like Patagonia, or like North Face, or like like any of those, I think like just gorped out, like, writing off the hiking trips is kind of the goal at this point.
Can you imagine a model actually like doing that? Because I feel like for those shoots, they typically cast, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say the term athletes, but they get like actual hikers and shit. Like could a model even remotely like tough it out on an Arc'teryx shoot, would you say?
Well, that's that's the thing with those guys, that all of them is, I think even the ones that like Nike ACG or something that have like a separate line, or what's the Arc'teryx ones? Valence. Yeah, like, I think even with those, I don't know. Like I think there's definitely like an untapped like city dweller Gorp lover market that they could definitely tap into with models, and it's
city dwelling Gorp loving fucking yuppies, bro.
Right.
I mean, there's got to be more Gorp heads. There's got to be more Gorp enthusiasts in New York than there are in fucking Montana. There's like 5,000 people in Montana, right? There's got to be like
upwardly mobile professionals.
I think Dime Square is, on their knees begging to see a model in an Arc'teryx campaign, and I think that I'd love to give it to them.
Right.
Yo, Arc'teryx might actually be your best bet. They just have a new creative director. They're like fucking with small, cool guy brands now. Instead of like serving on cease and desist, our guy Sam at Jam, he like flipped their model, and instead of like coming after his ass, they're like, "Yo, you want to do some like artist workshop with us?"
Oh, so, that's right. That's right.
He
is doing that shit. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, you can link me after.
I'll link you with the guy. Yeah, with Cooper.
Damn, look at that. People helping people.
Shout out Cooper, friend of the program.
All right. Well, favor for quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
What you need, a runway debut or something?
No, well, yes, but also throwing fits. Like, look, me and Lawrence, we can only do so much, right? Like the big brains behind this operation.
That's true.
Yeah. The big brains behind this operation. We're content kings, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to like creative direction, art
air talent.
We got the vibe, but like if we were to do a rebrand, how would you, Walt, just like 35,000 foot, broad strokes?
Yeah.
How would you kind of like art directed? Would you just give us a brief pitch on how you would rebrand Throwing Fits?
I mean, okay, 2 disclaimers. One, I don't know what your brand actually looks like in terms of I don't really know what you're like.
It looks like the logo and the color scheme. It's nothing to write home about.
I think it's blue and white, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I just mean like more so like I don't really know how you like conduct yourselves.
It's like mid. It's like mid.
Like fucking bozos.
Like, yeah, well, no, I know you guys personally are retarded. Oh, are we not allowed to say?
No,
retarded?
You can go off, King. It's fine. We don't care. That's why we work for ourselves, so that you.
Well,
can
I know you guys personally. I know you guys personally are R words, but yeah. I don't know about your like branding. But I do think that
there's no branding.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So that maybe is a place to start. But I do. But the other disclaimer I have is that I think your stupid fans clearly like whatever you're doing. I think you guys are like weirdly successful at this. So
we shouldn't be this successful, but we are. So something is working.
I mean, maybe I think you actually should be because people deserve heroes like you guys.
Okay.
But
the heroes they deserve.
Yeah.
Not what they
not what they need. But that being said,
they need Jesus.
I mean, one thing here's an easy free tip. That's the other thing. I'm not going to come on here and give especially not your non-paywall.
Right, sure, of course. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a bunch of tight free art direction because I get paid massive, huge bucks for that. But I will say, I think, one thing I say all the time to people, brands and people, and myself, as we talked about earlier, is with Instagram in particular, I think that too many people try to do this kind of like an archive thing, where it's like a history of them as a brand. People don't delete stuff from 10 years ago or whatever. And for me, my motto, especially of recent, has really been you use it a tool to show exactly what you are right now.
Interesting.
And that's it. I don't think there's actually
fucking up.
Because I think what really does an old picture that might not represent you right now do?
Well, it humanizes, James and I, it humanizes us as celebrities, It shows that we're real people, that we didn't just, come out of the ether fully formed as the only podcast that matters. We've been in this game. We've been grinding. I've been in the trenches. Out the trenches.
And that's what I don't do because I'm fully formed and I'm verified and I have a bunch of followers and I have 3 flip phone pictures and everyone, if you just find my page, you might think that you're
a mystery.
I'm an enigma.
An enigma wrapped in a paradox.
That's me being a mysterious, awesome guy. I think that's kind of a separate
not
thing.
A douchebag whatsoever.
Not everyone can, touch that.
Do you have a Finsta? Do you have a burner?
Yeah.
I do have a burner. That's where the real disgusting content happens.
I was going to say, is that mad salacious considering all the model partying? Which, by the way, is that awesome? How fire is your life?
Because that's a big part of the Throwing Fits brand is just partying. So
okay.
Getting fucking faded.
Full disclaimer. I'm absolutely miserable in general. But that being said, if you were a New York Magazine reporter, at my house, taking pics of my beautiful famous model girlfriend and all of her hot model friends and all of my hot model friends over here, drinking White Claws on the reg, then sure, everything looks fucking awesome. There's something else I was going to touch on. What were we just talking about before?
We're talking about rebranding,
rebranding your rate, and how expensive you are, how you're not going to give
very expensive, and
you have
amazing.
hot model friends.
A lot of hot
your
IG
is or your Finsta is disgusting.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to go on. No, it's pretty bad on there, honestly. I had to do,
drop that behind the paywall. That's what will entice these motherfuckers to sign up.
After the paywall, I'll read off 2 Finsta posts captions, which honestly, I don't know. It's I know I'm giving it now a lot of really hyping it up,
right?
But it is pretty.
You're a good showman.
It's pretty gross on there though for me. I had to do a cleansing actually because
you had to cleanse the Finsta. It was that
sage the burner,
not the posts, the followers because
a purge,
right? Because sorry, I don't know all the
unwashed masses. Yeah, I got it.
A pillar of Throwing Fits. I think it's John's. It's hanging with the boys. It's fit pics, and then it's partying. And good food, good wine, and then partying.
The finer things.
So Lawrence and I, we've actually famously met at a model party, and then we were kind of kicked out when the male models arrived. But is partying up with models around the world?
Before you guys arrived, they thought you were the male models.
No, they were are you guys here drizzly? Do you have our White Claw?
Yeah. What I meant is before the male models arrived, the people having the party thought you were the model, so they didn't kick you out. But then the male models arrived, and
we showed up, and the models were already there, and they were like, "You don't belong here."
We were with the female models, and then being goofy, and then the male model showed up, and they're like, "All right, time to go, boys."
They're like, "Nice try, fellas."
It was cool hanging out with you guys, but you're more of brother types, and
well,
you're not hot Australians.
Right. brother. You're more of a brother to me. One thing I will say is male models notoriously are the worst.
Stupid.
Piece of shit.
Very stupid.
So stupid. And it's
Yeah.
I think that's one stereotype
Himbos.
that's actually very true. And I think it's because I think girl models are geniuses because basically, they're like 16, they get pulled out of Eastern Europe and they get thrown on a plane, and then they have to unfortunately become like super geniuses to like. That's why
every femme fatale ever in a Bond movie basically is a female model.
So that's why my hot famous supermodel girlfriend is so smart, I think, because she was one of the many reasons besides amazing genetics and a giant brain. But I think that
she was a feral child tossed into society,
right? And male models for whatever reason I think actually there's a lot of reasons, which mostly has to do with like
men are trash.
Men, but I think that
the
male
patriarchy.
models get to do the opposite, which is they actually just have to stop doing any sort of brain work.
Right. They don't have to. They see themselves as the pinnacle of society, human achievement. And they just like stop literally making any progress on themselves as people.
Right. And male models also don't get paid, and that's like one thing they won't ever tell you. But the rates for men in modeling, in fashion, one of the few industries.
It is a double standard, right?
Yeah, it's the opposite of the normal double standard, which is male models get absolutely trash rates. The rate is like literally 1/10 of the woman. So they run around acting like they're so cool with their.
So if any female models out there listening, don't party with the male models. Party with podcasters,
the brother types, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, the nice guys. We want to finish first.
Well, fun fact about this, real quick, is that me and you used to call each other brother sister. So
the white stripes kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it as fire though as we all assume it is to be? Is it super fire to just party with models around the world, or is it kind of like overrated and just like blown out of proportion the way you kind of understand it or see it in like fucking mainstream media shit?
Well, I don't really know any other way of living.
That's true.
So it's hard.
And you're miserable. And you're miserable. So I guess the answer.
But I don't even want to think how miserable I might be without all the hot models around.
Oh, like if
it's something I can't even fathom.
You would probably kill yourself if you weren't surrounded by just beautiful people all the time.
Right. I mean, that's just a world I can't even.
Damn.
I don't even want to think about existing.
Damn.
But
don't kill yourself because you just have this new project that you kind of launched, which seems like it's already has legs, which is the Lower East Side Cactus and Succulent Society, that good suck. What is this? Tell us what this is.
SCSS.
This is
Mark Zuckerberg over here.
True. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, sick.
What is it?
Plug your shit, dog. What are you blowing it?
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm a big plant guy. I'm a big plant guy, and I'm not talking like
Kush.
Dank Kush or what, bro?
Yes, the fire Kush on the reg, but no, I think I'm more of a rare succulent collector guy. And this happens, super nerdy thing. So basically, when you're into something like that, you end up meeting people that are into the same thing because it's not that common. It's not like every male model retard or person on the block.
All right, well, don't take advantage of our goodwill here, please.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's something I'm working on for the audience out there.
That's real personal growth.
Yeah,
these male models can learn a thing or two.
Anyway, so point is, love succulents. They're awesome. They're nerdy. Have a group of like-minded succulent lovers in New York City. So we kind of, the succulent world, this might surprise you, but the succulent world is very rigid. And, basically the Cactus and Succulent Society, there's the CSSA, which is the Cactus and Succulent Society of America. And, it's a very rigid organization. It's pretty lame, which I know is shocking again, but, not that many cool boys and stuff in there, or hot chicks and
a lot of
stuff
narcs,
like that. A lot of narcs. They're very, they're just kind of squarey. And, I love nerdy shit, obviously, but it's not really that vibe even. It's kind of just a narky vibe. So we kind of, as a joke, started LESCSS, which is, the Lower East Side Cactus and Succulent Society. And then well, fast forward to this year, Corona happened, lockdown, there's a lot of civil unrest, in America. I was doing a lot, because of Corona, I was basically able to be kind of a full-time activist in a way. And which, by the way, my mom is a full-time activist. She runs a criminal justice reform organization.
Shout it out. What is it?
Shout out moms. Yeah.
Shout out mom. Yeah. Anyway, so I was kind of working like full time in a way, like doing the good fight,
Salute.
And then, stuff started, quote unquote, going back to normal a bit, in terms of like the amount of jobs and stuff that were like happening, because, with fashion, the way it worked is kind of everyone stopped for a while, like during like the real lockdown days, Yeah. And then now everyone's just like, all right, like if Italy's in lockdown, we'll just shoot in France, and if France is in lockdown, we'll just shoot in New York. It's like zero fucks given. So I had to start doing a little bit of regular work, and I think you guys love the term virtue signaling, as I've been as it seems, and I
Just
think
Lawrence.
the way, just Lawrence, and I think the real way that you kind of are not a practicer of virtue signaling is you work some sort of, whether it's activism or, social justice, whatever, into, make it a daily thing, where it's not like you're posting for a day because it's cool. You're not just volunteering for a day. It's cool. Anyway, point is, I basically was thinking like, okay, how do I make this part of my life a bit more sustainable, because it's not realistic for me to be a full-time activist, unfortunately, or not really unfortunately. I actually wouldn't want to, but that's just a fact.
So LES
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So that led me to.
We only have 3 more hours.
Yeah. Wrap it the fuck up.
All right. Long story short. We've always talked as a plant club about having a space, to kind of keep all of our plants.
Physical space.
What a ridiculous sentence to say, by the way.
What?
We've always said as a plant club.
Yes. Well, now I know.
Plantsman.
Yeah.
Plantsman.
Okay. Not everyone can be as awesome as me. Oh, dude, I just got my Corona results.
Negative,
live
positive.
live on pod.
Let's check it to see if
I got my negative result this morning as well.
Let's check it to see if it's canceled.
This is fucking must see TV.
Right. Hold on. I'm checking on the laptop. Anyway, long story short, I'm starting a community center. We will teach classes.
This is all staying in, by the way. I mean, you're definitely
not detected.
Nice.
Thanksgiving's on.
Going home for Thanksgiving.
Damn,
We're
positive
going home
test.
tonight.
You got an A+. Nice, dude. Dodge the bullet, dude.
Yo.
Corona test is negative, babe.
What did she get?
Thanksgiving's a go.
What did she get?
It's a
I don't
go.
You and these idiots on the podcast are asking if you're positive or not, or negative.
Not idiots, we're thoughtful.
I didn't receive it.
She said,
Did you check it? You got it in the mail?
yeah, it's in the email.
I didn't get it yet.
She didn't get it yet.
All right,
Oh,
so we're
damn. They're still running her results. They're
Yeah.
typing out the explanation
Right.
of
So you're
their
starting a
contact tracing
community
her.
center. You're
Oh, yeah.
also selling merch. Can I buy a tee? This
Well,
sounds
no,
very
the
cool.
merch is a fundraiser for the
Got
community
it.
center project.
Cool. Can I get
There's
a
a lot,
tee? Even if it's
honestly,
for a
I
good
think
cause?
the best way for everyone to learn about the community center is to go to thecenter.lescss.org, and that has a nice deck presentation and a donate link. But long story short,
I did see the deck.
collaboration with
The deck is very fire.
The deck is
In fact, I would encourage Chuck maybe as a potential decksman to go over to the site and check it out. Check out the deck.
Yes,
It's a beautiful
Chuck.
porch.
It's really nice. Anyway, we're selling merch and we're selling plants. We have an installation at Dover Street Market
Sick.
on the main floor next to
That Ray
Rose
Connect.
Bakery. We have tons of plants for sale, lots of weird plants, and we have 3 shirts, including a collaboration with Online Ceramics. And all of the money goes to the Lower East Side Cactus and Second Society Community Center project.
Very cool.
Let's talk about money for a second. It's the
Yeah.
fucking.
Love
Let's
it.
go from the green plants to the only green that matters, baby. In the
Transition
second
God.
segment or topic, rather, money. So Walt,
Mhm.
talked about activism. We talked about civil unrest. You know, in the capitalist framework that we live in,
it's like in a world with
in the
civil
capitalist
unrest.
world we live in, you know, salary transparency is becoming this new thing. So I guess, like, you know, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. A lot of people
that
do.
is not a thing.
Oh, it absolutely is. Why don't you just
You
wait
have
for
to
the
know your
question,
worth.
Walt?
You have to know your worth. You know, you have to know if you're getting screwed, and maybe it's because, you know, people have a prejudged notion of you based on your skin color, or your sexual orientation, or creed, or whatever. How much money do you make?
Yeah.
Well, first off, as a known, actually, never mind. I'm actually not going to make that joke. I was going to make a joke about bisexuals, but I decided to edit it out.
Okay. Thank you for self-policing.
Yeah. Thank you for
Well, I've been doing
work.
a lot. I've been doing a lot of that, actually. You guys might be shocked to know. Well, clearly, I make tons of dollars, U.S.
Yeah.
and or euros.
Right.
A lot of euros, actually. We have a lot of European clients, which is
Mainly
something that
euros?
happens. It's something that happens when you have more like higher end clients.
Sure, of course.
You get that
So you
VAT
get-
tax back.
So you guys are basically all what, Canadian dollars or whatever, but
Some UK's men.
you guys are all,
Some
no, there's no pounds. No one in
sterling.
no one in Britain spends money on anything except for like pie and mash or whatever.
Right, sure.
But
Bangers and mash.
Yeah.
we get tons of European dollars.
So how much money? How much money are you think you're going to make in 2020? Will you say?
No, of course not. But
Okay.
it's I don't know. I feel like I don't know what.
How much money would you like to make?
Yeah,
How
what's-
about this?
what's the
Let's
ideal number?
Give you
'Cause,
an
like-
out here. How much money would you like to make?
I would love to make enough money where I can just I think this is very popular sentiment nowadays, but I really, and this is not new for me, you know, not to be a gatekeeper, as a trail keeper, but I have been very much on this tip of just, my real goal is for me and Big Yoon, we go to a farm, we have Yoon loves goats. It's a big thing that we have to have goats.
He loves
Big
goats.
Yoon-
She probably loves throwing fits, if you know what I'm saying.
2 goats.
Yeah,
Every
every
week.
two-headed goat, bitch.
She actually hates throwing fits. She
Oh,
told me
okay.
don't go on. She goes me don't go on that pod.
When is she gonna come on?
Yeah.
She'll probably come on. She's actually.
Can you book the head? Can we book the wax head?
Well, Yoon, no, the head is like 3 times the price.
Yeah, right.
Yoon offered to be my soundboard to do like sound effects.
You should have ran by the
What, like
R,
flex
the
bomb?
R
Like-
word and
Yeah,
your theory on
exactly.
bisexuals first
And
and
you-
foremost by your girlfriend.
Yoon bombs?
Yeah, Yoon bombs. And Yoon also offered to, she also did an imitation of me on the podcast right before I came live with you guys, which I believe is something along the lines of, "Hey, it's Walt. I'm today's guest on the podcast."
Nice.
Pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate. I was going to say that
which
sounds pretty good.
I was about to say, nailed it.
Nice.
But
All right,
yeah,
so you want to make
between me-
goat money. You want to make farm money. You want to
Goat
make goat
money.
money.
Yeah, between me and you, we make already, hundreds of millions of dollars.
For
And,
sure.
But ideally, we step that up a little bit, and we,
So you want to
You know-
retire to the countryside?
maybe Montana, as you said before. And
Ooh.
I'm a big Montana guy.
That's where the Gorp, I mean, that's the
That's where
Thunderdome
you're
of Gorp. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
where you're gorped out in Yellowstone, throwing up gang signs.
Right, for sure.
Fucking Yosemite, bitch.
Is there anything that you like to spend your money on that you haven't mentioned yet already? You've talked about fucking rare Japanese Gorp. You've talked about ketamine.
kind of it, yeah.
You've talked
You talked about getting
you
Goats and farms.
goats, farms.
What are you spending your money on, like day to
yeah.
day?
What did we miss? Chicken
Well,
cutlets?
Yeah, I mean, 60% of my money is just off the rip to chicken cutlets. but
60% of your hundreds of millions of euros.
Straight to the cutlet fund, you know? What can I say?
It adds up, is all I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
dude.
But I mean, I think that, as for a guy that says he doesn't care about fashion a lot, I will say I actually do spend a lot of money on clothes. And I don't wear a lot of them, which is why, another plug, I'm going to start a Depop shop called Walt's Shop.
Nice.
maybe
Grail.com.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe you guys can.
I have equity. I have equity. So can you respect my financial future? Speaking of money, so
If you get me some sort of like,
nope,
all
not
right,
not
then
gonna
no,
happen.
then Depop.com.
Damn, you're a great negotiator, Walt, motherfucker.
What's your monthly John's budget? What's your monthly
what do you
John's spend looking like?
like thousands of dollars a month on John's, or
Like a
Probably get
typical
free
on,
shit, too.
on average, because like we know it fluctuates.
I don't know. Like
did you get a lot of free shit too?
I do sometimes. The The free okay, first, here's a good example of bad free shit, or good, depending on, I know, actually just bad. I'm vibing out. It's my birthday, October 16th. If anyone wants to send me something next year, I'll be turning 26, actually. So I turned 25 this year, that means. Anyway,
Rent a car.
So I was balling out, like, tuxing a ton of chicks, getting ready for my birthday party. Everyone's, all the chicks are like, what should we buy you?
All the chicks were pitching in to buy you one gift because you're
no. All the chicks are like buying their own because they're all famous models, so they have tons of money. So they're buying me really cool
Thank you
stuff.
for clarifying.
So all the famous model chicks like, when you be seeing you, we can't wait. And then I get a text, and it's someone that works at Yeezy, and they're like, hey, like, Kanye wants to send you something. So, by the way, I'm thinking this is for my birthday, but I'm thinking back on it, I think it was actually a coincidence. But, so they're like, and I'm like, they're like, what's your address? So I'm like, let me text like all these chicks back. And then, after I get through that, I text them back, and I'm like, 69 420
apartment 911. Yep.
Apartment 911. And
let me get that MAGA hat.
So same day I get a package, and I'm like,
same day,
huge package from Kanye. Open it up. Kanye 2020 hat.
Oh, come on, bro. Yeah.
Kanye
the Vision 2020.
Kanye 2020 hoodies, and a shirt which I almost wore here. It's a joke, but I decided against it.
Thank God.
Which says "God Save America," which I actually like out of context. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Now that you understand what irony is, that's a good one for sure.
Right. My prefrontal cortex is starting to develop, so I understand. Well, but
coming back from the break.
You would look like if you wear that shit head to toe, you literally look like an undercover police officer. Like that shit is like...
I wear it around the house, and I would like as bodega gorp, basically.
Right,
So I was wearing the God Save America shirt as bodega gorp, and I went to the actual bodega, and then in the elevator of my apartment building, I saw these two like fucking nerds, but they like looked at me. They like looked at me and like, kind of held it there for a second, and then like looked at each other, and they just knew exactly what it was, And I was
sure.
Like,
they spied a fellow Johns enthusiast in the elevator. I mean, that happens.
They were like, damn, this shit hasn't even shipped yet. How this guy gets
this guy's so cool.
Yeah, but I'm going to sell it. I'm actually going to.
Is that Mike Dean?
Is that White Trash Tyler?
Is that Reese Cooper? I'm actually going to
sell it for a lot of money.
Yeah, what are you going to flip it?
I'm going to sell it on none other than Grail.com.
I think that shit might be worth some money. Like when it's like, but even like as like an artifact.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to actually keep, a piece or two for the archives, because first off, they sent me like 10. I don't need that much. And second off, part of it is A, kind of hilarious. And B, it's just, I think, an important historical archival piece to have, next to, for example, my number 9 shirt that says, "Don't give a fuck."
Cool. Very
Another
hard.
shirt I almost wear at this time.
In your girlfriend's head. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the third and final topic, which is...
Oh, yeah, baby.
Meats and cheeks.
I just don't understand I feel like we've been doing a lot of topics.
This is the third one. We were talking about ourselves for 2 hours.
You just rounded out as 3.
Yeah. I mean, we're so good at what we do that you think that we've been talking about all this stuff when we really haven't. Life is only
thought
about
it's been 10 minutes.
Anyway.
It's been 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
That I know.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about meats and cheeks real quick, sucking and fucking, dating and shit. You're wifed up. We know that. You love your girlfriend, Big Yoon. But for all the loser virgins listening to this podcast.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Most of the audience. Right?
And or co-hosting this podcast. What's the best opening line to get a conversation going with a model?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a trick I used to do back in the day, actually.
Are you whispering because Yoon's right there?
Yeah. So listen up.
She is right there, but I say way worse stuff. So this is actually fine. But back in the day, so let's say I actually met an ex-girlfriend, or I landed an ex-girlfriend of mine who was obviously a famous runway model.
Sick.
But anyway, so basically, I actually don't even know if this would work anymore, because kids are so advanced these days that they're Tompkins
kids. So this is some grooming shit.
No, I'm saying 25. Ideally a kid. Well, A, maybe. B, B, I'm saying it's kids that are doing this.
Got it.
But, I don't even know if they do anymore because, Tompkins is so like meta and advanced. But back in my day.
This will work in Ohio. Where do you think that you don't think you think anyone in Tompkins is listening to Throwing Fits? Come on. I mean, hopefully,
that's extremely true. This is very likely to work in Montana. So basically what you do is you ask someone their Instagram and they give it to you, a boy or a girl, because we love bisexuals. And you search up their Instagram, then you go to your DMs, then you take a picture of you two, like, a selfie together.
Yeah.
And you DM it to them, which starts the conversation. Then next day, there's already a DM started. And then you're like,
okay, interesting.
Then you keep it going.
And no one will turn you down in the moment. So it's like no one is going to like not agree to take this selfie or whatever.
I'm like a known, amazing guy / international playboy superstar.
What about for a civilian though? How does a civilian kind of start the convo?
Well, I think that this is a nice little. I think the reason this type of thing, it's like it's nice. It's kind of dorky. It's not too like sociopathic. It's
approachable.
Yeah, I think it's like, let's take a pic. Oh, hey, I saw you last night. Cool.
You're not trying to fuck right then and there. You're like just trying to start an ongoing conversation.
Right. You're not like trying to fuck for at least like 2 more messages and like you're
2 more messages, then you're trying to fuck.
Wait 2 more messages before requesting whole pics.
And that's including both the picture and hey, so you're actually already there.
Got his ass.
No, but you're it's like,
emphasis on the whole.
You're like, oh hey, makes you kind of like cool, chill person, not too like, I don't know. I think people. Is
this your impression of like a virgin ass loser?
Is this how you land models?
No, that's me being like a cool little like I like Jesus.
Okay.
One guy who doesn't need any meats and cheeks talk or advice ever because he's been with the love of his life for fucking like 15 years now. Our guy Chuck, who's been kind of quietly sitting there giggling for the last 2 hours. We're gonna unmute him. We're gonna let him
Chuck
kind of
long-term GF.
Yeah.
Well, I would love some advice from Chuck personally because.
Well, why don't we make it a 2-way street because we're missing Chef right now. So in 30, we'll make it 60 seconds of thirst, Chuck and Walt edition. Chuck, you go ahead and ask Walt anything, pitch him on whatever, and then Walt, you can ask Chuck something in your 30 seconds of thirst. We'll start with Chuck first. Chuck, go ahead.
If this is a measure of success, I'm married, so I actually have all of the keys. But we can keep this about Chuck.
I've been talking to you for like an hour and a half.
All right, that's fair.
Chuck, go off, King.
What I was gonna say was Big Walt. I feel like the podcast has like a lot of aspiring creatives as like fans. So I was wondering, you said, you get paid hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
What advice would you have for like someone who's like just starting out and is like negotiating like pay and terms and like work and shit? Like not, you don't have to give away the whole fucking potion or whatever, but just like what like basic advice do you have for people who are just like starting out? Like,
you mean like for rates, like negotiating what you get paid for a job? I don't know. It's honestly hard, and I think that that's why having an agent is like really sick because you don't do any of that, and someone like stands up for you on your behalf. And like Midland also has an agency. Like we represent some talent as models, and I actually don't do it that much because this might be a shock to you guys, but I don't think be in general the best agent. They're a bit more organized and stuff, but a little less scatterbrained. But someone I do actually personally look after is Patia, friend of the program. And, I think that there's definitely something to be said by just like someone having your back. I think, best advice if you don't have a sick, awesome agent like me, is probably just like talking to someone that knows what they're doing and knows has done what you're trying to do before, if possible.
Are your DMs open? Could people DM you and maybe like just get a quick little soundbite from you, or
my DMs
are that available?
My DMs are actually kind of shockingly open, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. If you catch me at a good time, I will actually like
How many unread DMs do you have right now?
like when it's however many where it says like and others, you know.
Yeah.
But
plus 99.
But what I will say actually is that I see them all, which actually sounds bad because
then it's like you don't answer them. Yeah, you see like
right. I don't see them all.
Right,
but
sure.
No, I actually
good recovery.
Right, yeah, nailed it. Chances are, if you hit me up, I'll probably see it.
All right.
Also, sometimes I'm in an awesome mood and I'm just like throwing out free advice all the time.
Or so either DM Walt or if you're looking for representation, or go to his crib at 69420 911 Street.
Right. It's apartment 911.
Yeah. Right. Okay. 69420
Or just talk to. Yeah, exactly. Apartment 911. Or just talk to someone that knows what they're doing, I think.
All right, Walt, 30 seconds of thirst. What do you want to ask Chuck?
Yeah, go off, dude.
Well, I've heard now Chuck is in a loving relationship of 5 years. Huh?
A lot of years.
How many is it actually?
8.
Damn.
Oh,
and I'm 27.
Wow.
I'm turning 27.
So, I mean, Chuck, so what do you do to spice it up in the bedroom if you if you think things are getting a little like stale?
He gets a wax replica of her head.
You know, we all, anyone in a loving relationship knows that, like, when you first date and you fuck like 10 times a day or whatever, and then, once you start to really be comfortable with each other, you don't need to use sex to compensate, I think, for other things. So, but that being said, if you get too comfortable there, you might need some Chuck advice.
Chuck?
So this is specifically just how to have sex after that long? Just so I'm clear.
How do you do it?
Like,
I don't know, just like maybe just
Chuck,
like
what do you do to keep the spark alive? Like, what do you do shake? What do you do to shake things up? Like, if you need to, like, give something a little jump start. Like are you like a 3-finger, 2-finger type? One of the things too.
Okay, so we are talking about sex. What I was gonna say is,
as opposed to what?
Okay, so maybe just I don't know, like little surprises. Like instead of at night, maybe in the morning. Maybe before work. Maybe you're late to a meeting or something.
That's actually pretty good. And you go and you're like, ties undone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Chuck, is that why sometimes you're late to the Zooms?
He was late today.
Oh, that's why he's so rosy.
Damn. Shout out Chuck.
Wow.
I think it's Rudy Gobert year next year.
I was actually thinking of starting a pod called Waltcast.
That's a great idea. Normally we'll give you constructive criticism, but that's a good one. I might make that one of mine. I might change one of mine to you.
Would you listen to Waltcast, you think? Like,
can we be the first guests? Can we come on and you do this? You interview us?
Well, we might need to ease them in with someone a little more approachable first.
Who, Harry Styles?
Yeah, true.
We put asses in the seats, dog.
Harry.
Yeah,
Harry. Come on the pod, Harry.
You're a podcaster, Harry.
He's I love walking around.
I love butterflies.
Yeah. Okay. Waltcast. I'm gonna make a note. We're gonna revisit Waltcast. I think. Chuck, thank you.
Chuck, thank you.
Was that
Walt,
good advice?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was great advice.
I thought that was really good, and honestly,
Walton, you're going to show up late to Thanksgiving dinner. Walton, you're going to show up late to Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Since we don't have Corona,
well, she might. She might have it.
She might still. Let's not jump the gun here. Famous last words.
Walt, I want to ask you real quick. Let's play some Last John, Next John. I want to know since you're a big copper of fashions, capital F, small f, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Last John, Next John. What was the last John you copped? Full retail, no flow team. And then what's the next John you got your eye on that you're ready to pull the trigger on?
Last John, I think it was the pants I'm wearing, actually.
Damn. Okay.
Oh, my therapist is calling.
Tell him you're already doing therapy right now.
Should I say I'm on a pod?
Do you want to have a live session? Do you want to have a live session on mic?
Yeah. What's her hourly rate? Can we afford?
That'd be no, probably not, honestly. But maybe I might steal that for Waltcast.
That should be your podcast. Just live stream your therapy sessions.
That's a good one. That's a great idea.
And all my listeners just kill themselves.
Not a sustainable audience growth.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. Not a good growth structure. No,
because it was the And Wanders?
Well,
Yeah, and Wonderpants.
Here's a tip for your paywall listeners, or not. I don't know.
It's still free.
It's all free.
Jesus Christ, they get so much for free.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's the thing about this podcast.
Speaking of bad growth strategies.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a good growth strategy because they get another 6 hours after. But there's a store called Hatchet in Brooklyn, which is a pretty good it's definitely the best in-person Gorp Mart I've ever seen.
Really?
Like the people have good taste that stock it, the owners, whatever. They carry some and Wander, and I got these pants from there, and a North Face rain jacket, like one of those light ones, and it's in this great, like really brown color, earth tones,
Sure.
Obviously. Next, John, I've really got my eyes on this and Wander drop pocket raincoat, but the problem is it's like, $890 or something.
Sure.
And it's like, that just seems like absolutely insane to me.
It's hard to justify even as a Gorp keeper.
But that shit's gonna survive the apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cost per wear thing, right? How many times it's gonna last forever? You're gonna wear it whenever it rains. When it's all said and done, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, it was like $5 every time I put it on my back, worth it.
Is your therapist on speakerphone?
My therapist just left me a message. She's concerned about me.
Because she goes, I heard you're doing throwing fits. Well, it's not worth it.
I told her I was going on a podcast, and she thought it was she said it was quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, she wanted to use the R word, but she has more class than you.
Right. I say it all the time, as well as other,
other slurs.
Other words. Yeah, literally. But she thinks it's funny, kind of. So I don't want to.
All right, well, you're clearly fuck with therapy,
cunt.
you fuck with therapy, which is cool. As a taste Lord, taste God, we want to know what else you're fucking with and what you're not fucking with in this segment we call "Fuck with Not Fuck With."
It's a working title. We're gonna need
maybe
help
your
on
therapist has a suggestion,
yeah, we'll get on that later.
if you want to help us brand it.
We're gonna throw. Ask me already what brands.
Well, we're gonna throw a few categories. We kind of trimmed it down. We're gonna throw a few categories at you. Cool. We want to know what you're fucking with. You're not fucking with. First up, what music are you fucking with?
Yeah, what are you banging, dude?
Oh, let's check the receipts and see what's good. Okay, so here's something that happened. So I have this thing where I wake up. Sometimes I feel awesome. Sometimes, down bad. So I woke up the other day. I was feeling pretty good. I listen to like a lot of music in the morning. It's like I wake up, I put on some tunes either on my
part of your routine.
Yeah, either on my big Sonos. I have one of those big Sonos that like really shakes the room, or on my Beats by Dr. Dre Camo Collection edition. Which I'm wearing right now. By the way, they match my whole tone that I was saying.
No, you stuck the landing on the SpawnCon. That was great.
That's not even sponsored.
I can't even see what you're wearing, to be honest.
They blend into your fucking mop, dude.
Oh, because they're camo.
You can't see, but they're green. They're the same color as like my whole fit that I was talking about before.
The mossy turd.
Yeah. So anyway, when I'm wearing my Beats by Dr. J, I'm always in the morning. I'm often like looking for new tunes to wear. So long story short, I started blasting some Elliott Smith a couple of days ago, which I've never really listened to. I was a big angsty teen, so it's like very surprising that it wasn't really on my radar.
No Needle in the Hay, even after like Royal Tenenbaums and shit?
Well, no, that's the only song I knew. And I actually I think I avoided him because it's like, it's a little too like for me. But then, I was great mood. All of a sudden, I'm down bad.
There you go.
Because Elliott Smith is, whining in my ear all day.
He famously killed himself.
He famously, not only did he kill himself, he stabbed himself in the heart
with a knife.
The most dramatic way to kill yourself, by the way.
That means you're down. That guy was down bad.
Shakespeare was even like, "This is a little much, dog." You know what I'm saying?
Right. What?
I was thinking the most dramatic person. Whatever, that joke. Let's go.
Did Shakespeare kill himself?
No, never mind. I'm trying to talk about how dramatic Elliot. How much of a fucking bitch Elliot.
Lawrence, this is what happens when you try to make literature jokes, bro.
Shakespeare.
I might be a male model, but I have a brain up here. Okay,
you only read Capitalist Realism by Mark Fisher.
Okay.
Anyway,
Golden
that's like
Caulfield
that's a kind of fun.
Lawrence puts the cap in Capulet.
The capitalism
dude.
joke is funny because there's a lot of memes about capitalism right now. I don't know if you guys are like,
There are.
I don't know if you guys are big on memes on the intersection of art and technology, but there's a ton of it's a capitalism by Mark Fisher's a meme. Anyway, let's see what I'm listening to right now. A little Cass McCombs, you know him, another crooner. I'm a big Phoebe Bridgers guy.
Okay.
I just heard she was nominated for a Grammy, which is great because I love the Grammy. I only
best new artist.
I only listen to
Grammy nominated music,
which is a shame. Grammys
no
are
Grammy, no thanks.
No Walt.
Yeah.
That's what
I'll pass.
This podcast is going to win a Grammy.
Yeah.
This episode.
Big Yoon just texted me. I'm very hungry. Should I order something?
Yeah, chicken cutlets.
What's the order?
That's a callback. Okay, so you're going to just take the time to write back your order?
Well, she said, should I order something? It's like, she knows I'm in the pod, so she can't come in here and talk to me.
I guess she is being respectful.
Yeah.
We're almost
I guess
done with
it's
the pod.
you who's being disrespectful by taking time.
I'm going to say, what are you thinking?
We keep it going now.
What else? Let's see. I'm listening to.
Do you listen to rap?
Yeah, do you listen to any
Yes,
music?
I listen to. I listen to probably more rap, actually low key than you guys, because I know you guys are all like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we listen we get excited for Young Jeezy versus Gucci Mane.
You're like Kanye West.
Do you know who Young Jeezy or Gucci Mane is?
Who Young Jeezy is?
I know that's
you
a little
know
before.
him as Jeezy.
It's a little before my time.
Yeah.
Let me find some good. You guys like Baby Keem though, don't you?
Of course.
Keem's cool because he has.
We're a bunch of dirt balls in the coop smoking cat piss.
Keem scum gorp. Keem is his line. We got Telfair bags. What's your taste level on? And I think it's genius because it says Telfair,
not Telfar.
Like Sebastian Telfair, the basketball player.
Here's some
like Raph Simmons.
Here's some intel for you. Pa Selu. He's this British guy. The song called My Family. Write it down. It's the song of the year, I swear.
So that should be the outro. So that'll be the outro music to this episode. What is it called again?
My Family.
By who?
Pa Selu, I think his name is pronounced. He's British. I like
Chuck's
22. I like 22 G's for when I'm trying to like rob a bank or something, you know?
Right. When you're killing those Tompkins Square Park kids.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm pulling up to the
when you're whipping the foreign. Pull up the Tompkins in a foreign.
When I'm pulling up the Tompkins with a burner on me. What else?
The mop.
I'm listening to a lot of Fredo Santana. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Rip.
Scary.
That's a scary sight.
It's a scary.
Is there any music you're not fucking with currently?
Yeah, what don't you like?
Some popular shit that you're just like, this is like besides Jeezy and Gucci.
Yeah, besides,
I love Gucci. Jeezy, not so much. I mean, this is
the problem that Jeezy has. He has bigger songs. To me, he's just like not as relevant. Like Gucci doesn't really have the fucking big slaps, but he's like in fucking fashion shows.
But Gucci has no, it's not that. He has 3,000 mixtapes.
He does. It's too much.
It's a $10,000 outfit.
He's too prolific.
Look at my opponent.
Yeah, and he is too. I think there you go. He needs some editing.
There's this Shoreline lyric that's like $1,000 fit, and I always eat lobster, which I love because like $1,000 is just like a pair of big. That's not even a lot of money.
Yeah, that's one pair of Ann Wander pants.
Yeah, I mean it's two. If we're talking,
it's two pairs of Ann Wander pants.
If we're talking Ann Wander,
what are the big record? Like, what about like Megan Thee Stallion? Just her album came out last week. Like, what about that?
I haven't heard it, but I like her as like a.
What about as a fashion guy? What do you think of Playboy Cardi?
I just worked with him on a project
on Givenchy.
I'm not at liberty.
Givenchy
Givenchy by Young Thug, classic song. Givenchy, my toes and my birds and my hooves. Anyway,
so you like Cardi? Do you like the gay vampire look?
I do like Cardi. It's funny because my business partner had to like deal with his manager and book his travel and all this stuff, and but she doesn't really know who he is. And I sent her I woke up with the Toolie, what it do, song, and she goes,
meet me in the alley with the troops.
Exactly. I got red shooters, I got blue. Nice. Okay, anyway, she's like, we listen to rap. Anyway, she's like,
I'm white.
Yeah, for sure. She's like, she's like, she's like, this music is terrible. This gets to a private jet. And I'm like, yes, it does, baby.
Yeah. He bought his mom a crib off some mumble shit.
So when you book Cardi, he flies private. I like that, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
never did that when we were working together.
You'd be surprised, right? You'd be surprised. I mean, kind of everyone flies private if they can. Like all those people.
It's just like, it's fuel efficiency.
Work it into it's like James and I. You want fucking TF to come to your fucking shit.
You want to be comfortable. Not so much to ask.
What about what about film and TV? What are you watching?
Yeah, what are you pouring into
the ears of the front of the face?
Yeah.
Well, so last night my boy Mitch, he works at a site called models.com. You guys know that site?
Mitch McConnell works at models.com.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell came over blazing chicks. Do you know the site models.com? It's like
a database /
of course.
Interview all the models. Yeah.
Yeah, like us in the fashion industry, we use it a lot. But sorry, the joke was you guys are in the fashion industry. But anyways,
yeah, we're not.
Yeah, that's by design.
We went out on top.
I actually laughed today because I heard. Okay, so you know I started listening to 2.5 episodes. So sure. I listened to one full episode, which is Jonah, shout out, friend of the program, and then I listened to 1.5, which was like basically 6 to 10 other episodes for like 6 minutes or whatever.
Okay, you were bouncing around. You were hitting the whole catalog. Sure.
Yeah.
Yo, I love those. I love to hear about those downloads.
Because I got like 30 seconds into Reese Cooper.
Okay. All right.
I do want to give an on-record shout out to Reese Cooper because I like you and think your work is good. And I don't know why, honestly, you became a target of the joke, but you're a bit. So that's
shout out Reese.
Is.
I don't think Reese is going to listen, but shout out Reese. We love Reese.
Oh, yeah, cool. All right, cool. He's a bit. It's fine. Anyway, so... what the fuck was this talking about? Oh,
listen to 8 episodes.
Yeah. What else?
One of you guys? Oh no, I know which one of you it was, but I'll say one of you guys. One of you guys referred to yourself as the Alex Jones of menswear, which
that was me, obviously.
Yeah, which I thought was actually a great line.
Thanks, man.
But then
the frogs are gay, but they are getting big fits off.
Amazing video, also the gay frog video. But then that made me think that like if you're the actress of menswear, that means you're like in menswear, which is kind of a stretch.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Anyway, models.com, it's this website that if you're in the industry, you might use to kind of look up, other people in the industry and also like models, as the name may suggest. And my boy Mitch of models.com fame, because he works at models.com, he was over last night and we watched a movie called Krampus.
Is that like a horror movie about like evil Santa or some shit? Yeah,
it's about Krampus, which is you could say he's like an evil Santa type character. But we had some Walt toddies, which are hot toddies made by Walt.
Hot Walties.
Walt toddies, and we got down and dirty and watched some Krampus.
Fire! How was it?
Yeah, so was it good?
Well, I mean,
how many stars?
Probably if 6 out of 5 was possible, I would say 6.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, it's your world. We're just living in it.
It was definitely it's true. It is Walt's world. It was definitely the best. It was definitely the best movie I've ever seen. But the thing is about me, I watch a lot of horror movies. It's one of my quirks.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, they're like kind of calming for
me.
What
are your top 3, top 4?
Yeah, what's your Mount Rushmore of horror movies, and then we could.
I don't know. I couldn't possibly decide, but oh fuck, dude, that was Yoon.
That was your burner?
No, that was a real phone, and Yoon texted me saying she wants soup.
So I want to get some soup.
Get the soup. Yeah, soup season.
That's what I said. It sounds good, babe. That's what. What was it talked about? Oh, 6
Krampus.
Dank movies. Well, yeah, Krampus I'd say is number 1.
All right, what about any TV? Are you watching any TV or just all horror flicks?
No, we watch some TV. What are we watching right now? Oh, we're watching How To with John.
Oh, that show's so fire.
Yeah, I just watched the first episode last night.
Funny. We're watching Nathan For You. The thing with you that's cool is that I get to watch like a lot of stuff that I watched when I was like younger because she hasn't seen it because she's from Mother Russia. where they,
America's Next Top Model.
Sure.
You know, in America, you like, I feel like you like watch The Sopranos when you're like, 19 or whatever. Oh yeah, exactly. And here you don't, or in Russia you don't. So, we watched this during quarantine. We watched
in Russia. TV watch you, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Did she make you watch any like fucking like Putin propaganda or anything?
No, there's this one movie called Brett, also known as Brother, which is a famous Russian flick, but it was actually pretty fire. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing. They don't make a ton of movies there, as far as I understand.
Just propaganda. All right, Walt. Look, before we kick you out and get into the afters, before we kick you the fuck out of here, so that you can go get your soup with Big Yoon, eating that soup with a big spoon.
You honestly should have you on the show.
I'd be down. We want to offer up some constructive criticism because obviously you're doing well. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars. But that being said,
and I'm going to be a podcast host soon.
You're going to be a podcast host. We want you to do even fucking better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sweetie. So, as guys who are not in menswear, even though style.com, a little website.
Bro, I invented hashtag menswear. Walt wasn't born. He wasn't born then. So.
That's true. But there is no style.com anymore.
Yeah, RIP, because it died after it named us two most influential men in menswear in 2015.
Someone send this man the clip that blew up the whole site.
That happened, and then the guy, all the funders pulled everything.
Yeah, exactly. The traffic was so crazy. They're just like, what the fuck? We need to take our money elsewhere. We don't understand.
We couldn't afford all the servers we need.
Right,
we want to offer you some constructive criticism, the same way that you offer up a bit of an outsider perspective to these brands. We want to do the same for you, right? First up, I mean, this is the fucking layup here. If you want to make more money, be more famous, be surrounded by even more smoking hot supermodels, represent us. Become our model agent.
Yeah, that's the first tip of advice for you.
I mean, I was already going to ask.
Sick. Oh, so then don't even worry about it.
I don't conduct my business so publicly like you guys.
Oh, okay.
We're the most transparent podcast in the game.
It's more of an inbox thing for me,
No, that's cool. I mean, we had such an amazing rapport with you that we could just do it right now in front of our 18 million listeners.
Just so natural. You're 69 million listeners.
Just for this up.
Speaking of representation and signing, I know you dabble in human trafficking. I mean, modeling, human modeling. What did you do? Did you do animals? Did you do dogs?
I don't do dogs, but I've been asked to cast dogs.
Dude, I have a French bulldog. I was wondering the next time you see a little, when you're just cruising models.com or Craigslist or whatever the fuck you do, you see a fucking posting for a dog, just, give me the first right of refusal for a black French bulldog female from Craigslist herself.
I will say yes to that. I do want to make clear that I don't look at postings for jobs. That's not how I get That's not how I get my business. But yes, sure.
Okay. Thanks. No problem. Appreciate you, Walt.
Well, I'd love it if you could do me this kind of personal favor outside the professional realm. So far, it's all been professional, but I'm still out here looking for love. I'm not in a fucking 15-year relationship like Chuck or a 25-year relationship like Lawrence. I've actually, enjoyed my 20s, my 30s.
In your 40s now, currently.
Yeah, well, when I get there, for sure. I would love it. I would love it if you could art direct and curate my Raya profile so that I can finally match with some of these models.
Yeah, I'm happy to. That sounds like a great time. I'm happy to do that. Is Raya the one? Because I've heard a lot of different opinions.
Well, I'm not allowed into
what's hotter now?
There's the Jewish Raya Club Locks.
I was about to say, have you heard of Club Locks? I saw that on Twitter today.
I even though my dick cut, I am not of the Jewish persuasion. So
you have to. Is that one of the things you fill out on Club Locks? You say whether you're cut or uncut.
You know how you have to take a photo of your credit card. You have to take a photo of your penis and AI recognizes.
You got to verify your circumcision.
How many? Click every photo that has a foreskin in it.
Right. Yeah, I'll do that easy.
All right, thanks.
I thought it was about. I've heard that Tinder is better personally
for models. Though?
Where are more models on? Is the question.
I don't think models need to use these.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, true. Very true.
They use models.com.
Right. They use Instagram. They're just fighting off DMs from smokers.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, how about this? I'll give you free creative control over my DMs, and you can just DM all these girls for me from my profile.
Selfie.
Yeah, that sounds good. I do that a lot actually.
For your homies.
Yeah.
Live vicariously through your homies' DMs.
Yeah, I'm so
Sucks.
That's always a good one too.
What you up to?
And then finally, as the last piece of constructive.
Okay, that light going off was
that was Krampus.
Yeah, seriously. No, it was my. I have like a plant light timer.
Okay.
So like,
it's not Yoon being like, wrap it the fuck up. I want some soup.
I want this
yeah,
soup.
it's Yoon like, shut the fuck up.
My belly's grumbling for some delicious soup.
Right.
I want some.
Yes, you're gonna pot in the dark. Or you're gonna turn the light. Or what are you gonna do here?
Yeah, no, I'm just.
We have literally 20 more seconds of potting.
Okay. All right. So the final piece to Walt and or Krampus, whoever is demonically possessing this Zoom square, start the Walt cast. I don't know why I'm like, you already said it. Like, and I keep it slow open so that because I'm lazy and we can just put in whatever the guest ultimately says. So there you go, Walt cast.
I know. I got to start Walt cast. I think that a lot.
Book us.
Yeah, I'll definitely book you guys, and maybe like some of your virgins will come listen to me. And
for sure.
Yeah.
I'll book some other cool, hot celebrities.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Walt, constructive criticism complete. Thank you for coming on the only podcast that matters. Where can the 69 million, only for this episode, the 18 million that don't know you, where can the 18 million follow you on socials?
Yeah.
At Walter Pearce. Oh, I actually just made my Twitter public today.
Oh, really? I can't even imagine. I'm going to follow your ass right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of new because basically I've had like thousands of Twitters over the years, which I like.
That's way too many.
I started to scrape them because times have changed, you can't.
Sure. I mean, I think anyone who listened to any 10 minutes from your episode can attest to that. What's your Twitter handle? Right.
So now it's Walt_knows_best.
Wow. That's so bad.
Go fucking throw him.
I'm going to do it right now.
Walt knows best. All right, I'm going to hit you
with that. Look at that. 44.
Walt, I'm going to follow you back. I'm going to throw you the rare follow back.
Okay, 40, that's fire. And then today,
45.
Ooh, a fight video.
On Instagram, it's at Walter Pearce, obviously.
All right.
And you can see my 3 flip phone pictures.
Anything else you want to
fucking like those 3 flip phone fit pics? That was a fucking tongue twister. Chef, or first off, Walt, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Do you have any plugs, Walt? You would have plugged the cactus bullshit, I guess? When you talked about that a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I think, support LES CSS. You can buy your shirts at Dover Street Market online or in store, and visit the centers.lescss.org.
Chef, slap that motherfucking esoteric French British shit.
Pussy, what you want from me? Pussy, I don't owe nobody. Front lines, all you see is cats calling. They only wanted up from me. Hey, see me right there, I'm with my family. In the middle of the streets with my family. Big hunting there for my family. Brick it to my family. Buster, right from a killy, no cap. Bust a bell, make it ring like that. Have you ever seen a madman giggle after? You don't roll up a brother like that. You don't smoke like that. Hey, who want what? Big fat cool, get caught in your melon. BRG, man, I slap with a weapon. No Van Damme, man, slap with your step. Man, warring all of them roaches, I ain't that guy, man, I rising torches. Oh, them by appalling, no my enemies, them falling. Hey, back up, brick it on me. Kick back, man, so we says Van Damme. Oi, let up, we don't know about damage. This is their ways, that's where I'm standing. What's what you want from me?